we all have pizza the other day?
On Friday, yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Is that leftover pizza from Friday?
Oh no, I ate all that pizza. I'm having another pizza.
So it's fresh pizza. Okay.
It's all these all the Dungeonborn subs, dude. I get pizza every day right now.
Well, that didn't take
look
long.
at you living
Imagine a supporter streamer program that works.
We were live for less than 5 seconds when Dungeonborn came out.
Oh my goodness, Odin flee.
It didn't take long. Gents, it's been too long.
Yes.
It's been
Agreed.
way too long.
These handsome devils.
Been like
We have
3
a lot
weeks,
to
2
discuss.
weeks.
Well,
3 weeks.
officially, since the last HTL episode, it has been 37 days. I'm not
Wow, that flew
proud
by.
of that whatsoever. I think we should make it our level best attempt to never do that again. But in the interim, we were
I'll take the
on
blame.
the Darkest Hour pod, so we were around, just not.
Yes.
So that's why
normal.
it didn't feel like it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah, I was
never
gonna
didn't feel
say.
like 30. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that like time flies when you're just doing nothing, but we did something.
And when you're
And a lot of nothing. And
Like,
like,
we were
nothing.
We were gaming.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just grinding.
Lots of gaming
Arcanes are-
going on.
Yeah.
Go
I was gonna
ahead.
say your son is getting older. The rest of us are just staying the same and gaming.
That's right.
Your life is
That's
moving.
Yep.
You have evolved and improved. We are just, we're here,
Yeah,
part of it.
Mhm.
same.
Yeah. Yeah, my son's actually taken a good bit of this wipe off. Like last 3 weeks, he's been playing other games with his buddies who do not own personal computers. So he's been playing
yeah,
mobile
you have a
games.
console playing. Son?
Oh, man.
Oh, he's
mobile
been playing
games.
mobile games.
Oh, that Dark and
Hey,
Darker
hey, hey.
mobile?
Hey, there you go. I was going to say, didn't that just come out? Let's add that.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a YouTube video. I meant to click on it. Never
I got a
did.
Reddit ad for it.
What is it?
But
What is Dark and Darker
anyways.
Mobile? Does anyone actually know? Does
Yeah,
anyone here know what that is?
It's
What does it
it's
do?
dark and darker, but more like a little BR with mobile controls. So it's very basic.
You've
like
given...
It's the equivalent of Call of Duty Mobile versus Call of Duty. It's a very similar game, but it's like
Okay.
really toned down for mobile.
Like PUBG Mobile.
It's the skeleton
Yeah,
of the game,
exactly.
I imagine.
Mhm.
It's very
Except-
stripped down.
Except they introduce new features, so you can have pets
Yeah, that's
and
annoying.
mercenaries, and I think housing. So like there is some like redeeming features in there a little bit.
That's what I heard similarly with, I don't know if anybody got involved with Apex Legends and saw the Apex mobile. It was kind of the same vein where there's like a significant amount of new features and almost actual upgrades that you're wondering why they're not in the live service, current version of the game. But it was just something that I thought was really confusing. Like the Apex mobile version had more features and things that they wanted to port into the regular one, but it was made by a different company or something. It shut down, but
yeah,
it's
those mobile
weird.
spin-offs are always a little strange.
There's something good to them, but
Wait a minute, what's going on here?
Oh my.
hold on, my cameras are messed up. What happened?
All
How
right.
do I fix this? Dungeonborn,
Gotta
Dungeonborn,
switch it up.
Dungeonborn.
And I'll see you later.
This is not that fun.
Oh no.
Wait. I only have 4 screens.
Hold on a second.
Hold
All
up.
right. Well, we're
Oh no, my pod,
switching it up here.
Look at you guys with your actual scenes. I just, boom.
Just full screen
Discord,
Discord.
pop out. Yep. Thank you, Discord.
I
All right,
also
full
have
screen.
to do
Good
that
idea.
now.
Hold on. Yeah, now it's full screen.
All right, hold on.
Dude, you guys are missing out.
I mean, the
I'm
actual
already in
scenes are
danger.
good, but now it's all scuffed.
Yeah, we
love
just
the
got to
fight.
reorder a few things here.
All right.
Odin, welcome. All right.
It's me. I'm here.
Who's this handsome guy?
Oh, some schmuck on the podcast.
Yeah.
These guys just
That's
found me on the
one of
street and were like,
4.
hey, do you want to come on this episode? I don't remember which number it is.
Yeah, it's like 69 or
26.
something.
I was also gonna say 69.
why is it the moment? I don't even know if I actually have no idea what number it is.
Yeah, I don't keep track.
Is it actually 69?
26.
At
26.
least
I'm
Arcane
gonna remember
can
that.
count. Yeah, Arcane can count though. We can.
The only reason I
Mhm.
know is
Can count.
because I had to put it in the
You can
title
count and read.
of the feed. YouTube makes you set up a broadcast each time, so you can't just click the button and start streaming. You have to actually manage a broadcast, put in the description, put
Episode.
in the title.
He
It's a
said 26.
lot of admin, but yeah, it does force me to check and see what number we're on.
Perfect. I definitely didn't add that to my stream immediately.
So where do we want to
All
start?
right.
There's so much to talk about. I don't know where to start.
I
Any
think we
ideas?
should let our guest of honor, Odin, who is back as a guest, and I should emphasize that. As many of you may know,
As a civilian.
yeah, Odin is now one of the Ironmace faithful, soldiering on.
Is the hand
No
of
longer
the
a
king.
former
Brought
member of
into
the
the flock.
podcast, but we have been begging him to come back as an honored guest, and we are glad to have him. So, how's life treating you, man?
It's pretty busy right now. I'm trying to get some passport stuff situated. I'm moving next month.
To Korea?
No,
I'm
he's,
not moving to
he's getting his
Korea.
new place. Remember this discussion of terrible internet and woes.
Yeah, I'm
yes,
moving to
but why
North
the
Austin.
passport?
Well, I mean, I will be traveling, and I need to get it sooner than later, so I'm trying to get it done.
I see.
I also need to invest in a passport. It's a good idea.
It's so the thing is, Texas has this thing that they do called Real ID, where your license now can be a passport, but it's only for domestic travel. So I got
Mexico
that,
and Canada.
Right. So I got that thinking that would have me covered, and I'd be good for trips to outside the country. That is
Mexico
not
and
the case.
Canada is
Unless
outside.
it's Mexico or Canada.
True.
But that's it.
That's just our hat and pants. It doesn't count.
It is. That's great. Actually, I love that.
I've never heard
and
that.
Pants.
Yeah.
That's being forever what I will call Canada.
It's just America's hat. That's why whenever somebody's like, "Oh, you've never left the country," like, "Yeah, I've been to Canada." Doesn't really count.
Doesn't really count, yeah.
No.
Just
When
But,
Europeans are like, I've gone to 7 different countries. What? You know what? Fuck you. That was right next door. You drove like 20 minutes.
Those are basically states, bro. You took
drove
the
the
tram.
tram to get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I drive
On the way
longer to
the
get milk.
store. Yeah,
It's good milk.
nothing else really new with me. Our gym rat inspiration has gotten us all into the gym, so I've been
Yes, you're
I've been hitting
welcome.
the weights, and it's
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome so bad.
Yeah, thanks so bad,
Alas,
dude.
Yeah,
yes,
fuck
you
you
guys
guys.
are
Oh.
welcome.
Fuck you, Ken.
Dude, look at that pump cover he has on. He's hiding it.
the pump cover.
No, you should have seen it the other day. When I have 2 beers, all the
Don't
shirts
talk about
come
my ex
off.
like that. Wait.
Pump
Oh.
cover.
Jesus Christ, dude. Have we even hit the go live yet?
Oh yeah.
No, am I
okay.
live?
Okay. No, I'm just fucking with.
Well, guys, it's been at least 3 hot fixes since we had a formal HTL episode. But before we dive into all the changes, the good, the bad, and the ugly, what's everybody been up to? Has everybody been doing the AP grind? Been doing a little questing? Just doing the standard
AP.
PvP?
I know me and
AP
Ken have been
grind.
doing a little bit of drippy duos whenever we get the opportunity to crab
yeah.
walk around on people and scare them with double judgment, double smite, and just
Yeah.
completely clean up kits. I mean,
Cleric
that
is
was fun.
ridiculous. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Well,
but Cleric is ridiculous.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it. You know what? Can we get this done? Can we get this done? No.
no, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no AP grinding for
Oh.
me. I always say, if you want to enjoy Dark and Darker, just do not involve yourself in the AP grind. And I live by that.
I don't know why I never listen to you every season. I value your opinion. I hear you during the episode, and then I do the opposite every single season, and I hate my life. One of these
If you're
days, I'm
gonna do
listen.
it, just do it at the end. Just do it the last
Yeah,
2
like
to 3
I'm
weeks.
just
I
filling in and
regretted
fucking
that last time.
around, and I
Yeah,
did
but
like I was doing fully naked duo runs, and now I'm almost demigod on that ranking. I was doing it in duos, just going to like ice caves and crypts completely buck naked and running through trying to kill bosses, and now I'm almost demigod through that. So I've got like all rankings. I'm almost at demi. So it's kind of like
is
just
Ice Cave still
showing
the premier AP grinding spot? Because it was last season.
it's getting to the point now where I am seeing people in the ice abyss, mostly warlocks, trying to kill the boss. And
Warlocks, yep.
it's actually really annoying because the fucking boss is so loud. You know how like if you get close to it on Inferno, you'll be like, oh, I hear the Ghost King jumping. Oh, there's purple shit on the ground. I know if someone's fighting Lich. Every single person and their heirloom and their lineage, everyone knows when you're fighting the fucking dragon. It is a thundering slam. Even the dragon starts to attack me when I'm on like a random ledge with fucking ice and shit, and I hear shattering next to me. I'm like,
Have you had this happen where you're fighting like a mob in the ice abyss, maybe like a Thanos or something, and then somebody dies fighting the boss, and then you get the fucking ice crashing down, and you go to like 2
yeah,
frames.
all of a sudden chunks go flying. and
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
breaks.
you have 2 frames per second, and the axe skeleton hits you and you die. Yeah, how that happen.
I haven't had a
It is
lock up, but there's like when
funny.
the ice breaks, it's cool because it's like just shattering everywhere. It looks like a ball pit, and there's some kind of
Oh, it
fucking
looks sick.
2006 Nickelodeon celebration where shit just rains down from everywhere.
I killed my frames though.
Odin, what about you? What have you been up to in game?
I've just been hopping around trying different builds. Since they just did a bunch of changes to like the will curve and they buffed Swift and Weapon Master on Fighter, I have now been trying the Crystal Sword Fighter again, and I am finding it to be a lot stronger than it was. I don't know that it's necessarily quite as good as it was at its peak. I think maybe it fits a little. Well, I think it fits a little better into the meta because you don't have as many polarizing matchups.
There's a lot of plate wearing individuals walking around, and that cuts them down. So
people haven't been investing in magic resistance on the whole,
as is tradition.
I've even been killing barbarians with it, so I actually think it's pretty strong right now. But I'm trying out Laura's build with the resourcefulness ranger, just stacking as much resourcefulness as possible. The survival build, just constantly have triple shot and knockback arrow up. It's broken. It's resourcefulness is disgusting. You have your cooldowns up so fast, and the biggest advantage of it is that people don't expect you to have that up so fast because you've sort of like internalized the cooldowns through thousands of hours of playing the game, and then somebody's like, they have triple shot back up in 15 seconds. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, resourcefulness is great. I've also been playing resourcefulness, but I've been playing intense focus, resourcefulness, stacking wizard. I've been playing it for like 500 hours straight. It's my new favorite build. It's so much fun to just have intense focus on a 10-second cooldown. I'm just running around with
insane
with 9 invis pots on me. I'm landmining people. It's ridiculous. It's been so much fun.
Landmine Wizard's got to be the funniest thing to come out of this patch.
That's
great.
I
saw it too.
You and Jay running around the dual wizard gang, cleaning up on warlocks. It did make me feel a little good to see all the warlocks going down. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, no.
Every warlock death is an angel getting its wings.
Indeed.
So dramatic.
Mr. Strange, what about you? What have you been up to in the dungeon of Darkenbacker?
I've been playing rogue. I'm not playing a landmine. I'm just playing the no stealth rogue. Listen, as an advocate for asking Ironmace to please reach out to the United Nations to come remove the landmines from the dungeon, no stealth is still incredibly strong. I constantly, harp about the fact.
That, right?
Yeah,
not on creep either.
Okay. No Whoa! Creep. Holy shit!
No creep, no stealth, and I just pop off. Rogue. Ethical rogue gameplay, and you know what? When I was watching,
crossbow, never engage melee, run away.
Ethical, baby.
Yeah, ethical. As ethical as it can be and still be sustainable. You gotta make sacrifices.
Free range.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was watching Vincent play Ranger, and he's doing no trap. I'm doing no stealth, no creep. So I am of the opinion that if we were to get rid of things in Dark and Darker, I would praise that it would be both stealth and traps. But yeah, I've just been playing Rogue, man. I've really, really been enjoying it. I swapped to Barbarian at the end. All my builds have movement speed. I just movement all over the place. Obviously, with Barb, you get in close and you pop off. I killed like 150k Warlock the other day, my biggest kill this wipe. I literally sold his entire kit for a gold coin chest. And then I bought 3 artifacts, and I lost each artifact each consecutive round. Jeez. I went Echo of Screams, and I died by stepping in a trap.
All 3 in a row?
In a row. Echo of Screams, I stepped in a trap and died to a Ranger. Then I used Life After Death, and a rogue killed me by poisoning me. And then I used Stinky Stick, and I was looting a body, and a rogue came up behind me, creeping, no sound, and killed me. So it was like Ranger, Trap, Rogue, and I was just like, all right.
The
like,
Life
rip
After Death
150k. That was my fault, though.
100% your fault.
That was my fault.
What did you do?
Every swing.
I missed everything.
I did see that.
And
yeah,
I used Savage Roar.
I played like shit, and I died like shit. I hit the ground, and then I went to chase him, and he spider bounced off my LAD attack, and then I was like, I'm fucked. It's just over. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was a great day, and yeah, I've been enjoying Rogue.
Right on. And Boss, you gave us a couple hints earlier. What else you been up to?
Like the naked cleric runs, because I see a lot of people looking for like budget guides on things. So I figured going in. When I say naked, I don't mean like Squire kit. I mean like I'm using nothing, no armor, no weapons, just kind of finding what I can and trying to kill the boss in Inferno, which has actually been a lot of fun. Like that's like the only thing that kind of gets my blood.
That's tough to do as cleric, because
finding
a cleric weapon is like finding an artifact sometimes.
Yeah,
that's
the
difficult.
I succeeded. I got the whole kit put out. I actually killed the Ghost King. I'm gonna put that video. It was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty sweet, because everyone's everybody goes Squire to HR. I'm like, yeah, well, I killed the fucking boss. I was naked.
You could always, load up the white Wormall now that it's only -40 speed.
Fuck the Wormall. I hate the Warmaul.
That's so good.
It's actually good.
Warmaul. It's so good.
I don't care how good it is. It's a Warmaul.
It's only minus 40 speed now.
That's
Yeah,
great.
You're going to see a lot of fighters with weapon.
Yeah,
master
I was
around
gonna say,
Warmaul
you're
You're gonna see a lot of fighters using everything now.
Yeah.
It's bad, bro. I'm running the Morningstar longbow fighters. They're just destroying people. It's
you have
crazy.
armor? Not anymore.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's not good for the Morningstar prices. I'm not appreciating that at all.
Yeah, that's not great. They were really cheap, man. They were like down to 100 and 150 gold.
For the purple,
Yeah,
for
before
the
Cleric
epics,
caught
yeah.
on.
No, they were when Cleric was popping. They were still 100 and 150 gold.
Yeah,
Within
They
the
were
first
just cheap
week-
as fuck. They were
within the
still
first
cheap,
week,
With
they were
bro.
fizz
up to, like,
damage under
500 gold.
200.
Yeah, that went way up.
Yeah, because fighters.
No, before that, dude.
No, way
it was
before that,
clerics.
dude.
Yeah, the cleric
Nah,
meta
back
really
me
caught
up
on.
this one. The prices were super cheap for Morningstars
2,
until the
3.
fighter patch.
Yeah,
You're
it
trying to tell me
was.
that
We would
it was
never pay more than
pre-patch.
250.
Yeah.
Never paid more than 250 until
No
the
way,
fighter
dude.
patch.
Magic power was
Epic?
automatically like
Never.
600 minimum. Magic
For
power,
Epic
magic
or
pen.
Lego?
Guys,
What are you?
for
What are
Epic.
you talking about?
Yeah,
Talking
when
about
Epic,
epics.
epic.
Yeah, I was
couple
gonna say
weeks
I was
ago
picking up
before-
epics for 200 pre-patch
200 gold.
with just
Easy.
fizz,
3
just
max
fizz
HP.
power, fizz damage bonus.
I mean,
on
maybe
them.
they started going
Yeah,
back
maybe with
down a little bit.
fizz.
Yeah,
like
not
3 or
plus
4
one.
weeks ago,
Plus
they
one
were-
weapon was 400, 450.
Yeah, like
That's
Yeah.
always been that way, though.
3-4 weeks ago,
Mm.
they were crazy expensive, and then the super speed smite cleric got nerfed twice, not in
Yep.
a substantial way, but they did get nerfed.
A moderate
Uh,
nerfs.
Are we arguing about the macroeconomics of Morningstar prices right now? Is that
Yeah,
what
sorry
we're
about
saying?
that.
yeah.
We
I'm
should get
just
off that
saying.
topic immediately. Hey, there was
All
something I
right.
wanted to open up with and I forgot. And Odin, I don't know how much involvement you had in this whole process, but I think One Peg and Ironmace definitely deserve a shout out. The GCX Torch Skin event was a massive success. And just wanted to give a shout out. I thought what One Peg did was just phenomenal, and what Ironmace did to make that happen was awesome. So, if any of you guys in the chat were part of the St. Jude's donation crew, thank you. That's a pretty awesome thing.
I think One Peg posted today that they've now crossed like $370,000 raised just from
Yeah,
torches.
the total
Cause-
just with the torches.
Yeah, because they left it up. So because originally it was only supposed to be for those 4 hours, but then everybody
Mhm.
wanted it, and it's like, why not leave it up?
Yep.
How much is it going to
but-
hurt? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it
It helped a lot.
it helped a lot. But as far as my involvement, I take no credit for that. That was entirely between SDF, Terry, and One Peg, as far as I know.
Okay.
All I just did my job of posting the socials and marketing and talking to St. Jude's and stuff.
If I understand how
on.
One Peg was saying it, is he reached out just to say, hey, I was wondering if you guys might have a couple of like Madrinas bundle codes or something to give away, so some incentives for the donations for the charity stream, and then they took it, Ironmace, and were like, all right, what could we do to even take this a lot further? And they did that on their own. So like One Peg was
That's
just
awesome.
asking for like scraps at the table, and they fucking sat him in the king's chair, and that's fucking incredible, man. What they did,
Yep.
I just can't believe it. That was. I felt so cool, man. That is the coolest thing, to be in
Yeah.
any aspect a part of something that was that great.
Yeah, the
I
spirits
feel like
were very
everybody
high.
that day,
That's,
everybody that day slept really well. I hope
I'll bet.
at
Yeah.
Ironmace HQ.
The spirits were very high. We have our teams chats between all the different groups, and of course, when we talk to the people at the office, most of the time it's just through the team's built-in translate, which is actually fairly good for the most part for communicating. And we had like an open channel where we were talking about it there, but everyone that's part of the overseas team was all in one big group, just kind of losing their shit over it while it was happening live. When we saw it hit 100K, I think it was like less than an hour and it hit 100K. We were
Yeah, it was super fast.
It was so the goal.
Everybody was over the moon about it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. I think he had set 20K for the 4-hour block as like the donation, like expected reach, and we hit that in the first 18 minutes. And I think it was 50K by 30 minutes, and that was the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. That was the
Nuts.
coolest thing. I
Yep.
can't believe it. Everybody
Darker
just
Darker
stepped up
community
and
kicks
knocked it
ass,
out.
man.
Yeah,
No kidding.
That's why we
Yeah, I
love this
mean, if
game.
you think about it on a per user basis, like right now, I think we're averaging between 35 and 40,000, depending on the time of day. 35, let's say 40,000 active players.
Mhm.
So we got over $7 per active, whatever the normal active player is, $7 per player to get us that high, right?
Yeah, I
My
mean,
math-
there
does
was
that
several
math check out?
people. there were several people donating huge sums of money.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
that's why I call it an average.
why
Why are you trying to min-max me?
I'm just saying, you know,
you're both correct.
We're just
but one
trying to
of
keep
you is
it
an
realistic
asshole.
here. Keeping it realistic. You're putting a Ken on my screen, so I don't know what Ken did to upset
Actually,
you.
I mean,
also on my screen.
I can honestly, I have so many reasons to call Ken an
shut up,
asshole.
Man, fuck
Ken.
you, Ken.
Dude,
Fuck you, Ken.
I'm such a nice guy. Just like
Actually,
only one not
fuck
saying
you.
anything. Yeah.
Fuck you, Ken.
The only one that has a
I
clip of
deserve
me
it.
being murdered cold blood in your
I'm
chat.
about the only one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
no, I think everybody
That's-
has a clip of you dying in some horrible way. I'm Winless.
Them killing me specifically.
I'm
Oh,
Winless.
God, why?
That
can't
would
believe they never saw
happen.
that
It would
clip.
never happen with the winless either.
Who never saw that clip?
Yeah.
Grayson and them when we were playing, I was like, we
Really?
referenced
Oh,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, you've never seen it? He's like, no, we didn't. I didn't see it. I was like, I can't believe it.
Even
Sometimes
my
they
chat
get
has those
suffering.
clips. That just
Mm.
rotates.
That's great.
Sometimes things get missed because like we all sort of check we watch the Discord, we check the Reddit, we see the posts on like replies on Twitter, so like we sort of just assume that other people have seen those things. But yeah, sometimes like only one person in the whole company will see something and they'll share it to the post, and everybody's like, "Wait, what?" We pay attention to stuff
It
all
was
the
just
time,
a
but things just
funny-
slip through the cracks, and somehow Windlassing was the one that nobody saw. What
Yeah, I
was
was
it?
surprised. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
All right, gents. So let's talk game. Wyvern has changed. We've had, what are we at? We're close, coming up on week 7, or we're in the middle of week 7. I'm off probably by a week, either direction. But we've had, let's call it 7 weeks with the Wyvern. What do we all feel about that boss, especially now that it is activatable by any party size?
I guess I'll kick it off. I think the change to the activation was necessary. I think having to pre-team to go kill a boss is one of the most ludicrous things that anyone they've ever done in this game. To talk about the boss itself, the fight's really cool. I think it's pretty unbalanced for some classes, i.e. barbarians, i.e. warlocks. I think warlocks and barbarians have way too easy of a time fighting the boss, and they can ignore almost all the mechanics. I think Iron Will should not
Ignore knockback.
Yeah, ignore knockbacks on PvE specifically. You can keep your PvP, whatever, that's fine. And they have to do something about warlocks just being able to solo it, because it's fucking the economy. But yeah,
No
that's my 2
doubt.
cents.
Yeah, I mean, going through and having the access to it was the biggest complaint on my end from the very beginning. Even though back when it first kind of came out, there was no chance of soloing it and everything. And now that there's an opportunity to go in there and just bash my head against it, it's a nice change. But like you said, it is also in the sense of just like ruining the economy, that the Froststone ore afterwards, even if you get nothing from the boss, you're still getting the incredible value of the ore. So it's definitely a money printer.
Definitely. I do agree with Ken 100% that I didn't even know that the Barbarian, I didn't even think about that, and I haven't watched a lot of Wyvern videos. I just know from being down in the Abyss that the only class I've ever seen go up and try to solo was Warlock. So I felt like that is definitely an issue if you've only got one class that can solo basically the highest value item or boss and subsequent item in the game. And it's just so persistent. Literally at every single time I go to Abyss, there is a Warlock fighting the dragon. So yeah, other than Barbarian,
let them
are
keep
there
making
any other?
let them keep printing artifacts so that they can get cheaper and more accessible for everybody.
And just to add on to that, like
Honestly.
a lot of the melee classes can solo. I know Bard could solo, Rogue could solo. It's just like way easy, so much easier on the Warlock. You have so much more room for error.
I can play there on a Cleric. I can solo it, no doubt. It's going to take me about 8 minutes. It's going to be very brutal, and it's not going to be smooth. I'm going to have to play perfectly, but I could just hop on a Warlock, eat 6 fucking shots to the face, heal it up, and then throw out a couple of Hellfires and have it done in 3 minutes with time for tea.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Lich, though.
Not Lich. No, absolutely not. Go solo fucking HR Cleric Lich. Go do it. God damn it. You keep talking about it. I want to see it.
Like Cleric solo Lich.
I was talking about Warlock. I was saying it's
Warlock
the same.
solos everything though.
Yes,
Yeah,
and like
agree.
honestly, everyone can play Warlock though. So like, I don't know what the issue is here necessarily. If you don't like it, like just go kill the Warlocks. Like get your Rogue and go down to get a cutthroat rogue and go kill them while they're killing dragon, or kill them after they kill dragon.
Yes, but now we have to get into the conversation of go kill the warlock, because you've awoken the hive, and the angry Reddit mob is here to talk to you about the unkillable warlock gods.
And warlock sucks.
They definitely don't suck.
Yeah,
they definitely don't suck.
Good players smash warlocks. But that's like a whole other conversation. Back to Wyvern. I think the Wyvern change was really good. It was great in the dev Q&A to hear that they were going to make the changes to the summoning. Overall, I still think Ice, the same thing we said last time, Ice needs POIs. Like, at least now it has Dragon, but most people are just sitting around doing nothing until the Abyss shows up. So Ice needs fundamentally like more POIs and more things to do on that map pre-Abyss.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because like all like the Wyvern teams, they just sit around. There's just like 3 people sitting around for 13 minutes, then they go to Ice Abyss and fight the boss. It's pretty uninteractive. At least when you're like going to farm bosses, you play the game for 10 minutes before you go down. But right now, it's just like run to the south side of the map in Ice Abyss, hide in a dark corner. All right, then we'll just wait for the boss. That's my experience. That's been almost all my experience with Wyvern. Is just ignore players and then skip the boss.
You just like playing lame. Stolen Realm. You just like going into a corner, booting up Stolen Realm, getting a couple of runs in, and then
it is nice.
Oh, he burned his pizza.
Are you showing us your fucking frozen pizza?
All right.
Yeah,
Josh,
it's ready.
That a cauliflower? Is that a cauliflower
crust? That is cauliflower crust. Yes.
That's why it's a little bit crispy.
Yeah, a little bit crispy.
I don't like that.
I like my Cheez-Its burnt, and I like the edges of my pizza burnt.
I like my marshmallows kind of crispy. I don't like my pizza that crispy.
That box is on a factory floor. Get that shit off the box.
That's good for you. That's how you develop resistances.
That's right.
That sawdust keeps you preserved.
Yeah.
It does.
I'll never get sick if I lick the ground.
Those microplastics in your balls.
Ah, shit.
I've got plenty of microplastics in me already, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, I wanted to dive into class balance, fellas. While we're on the topic of Warlock, should we belabor the point a little bit more? What do we feel like the biggest issues with Warlock are? And well, let me ask this question. So my point about asking or mentioning Warlock and Wyverns, do you feel like, Josh, you said it's not an issue. Does it point out a potential issue in the game when one class can clearly do things that no other class can do that are end game content specific, like being able to solo boss any boss in the game, run through PvE twice as fast as any other class? And even if you claim that the PvP is reasonable against Warlocks, and I've definitely seen them countered, usually by good players, as you mentioned, does it point out an issue with the game? Or is that to be expected in any kind of game like this where there is very specific class identity?
Warlock is busted.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like on a PvE side, it is a very strong PvE class. And you don't really want to fight them when they have PvE on them, but I don't know if necessarily it leads to like this big... I mean, if you look at Reddit, Warlock is insane. Warlock is OP, Warlock needs insane nerfs, and every time a new patch comes out, and Warlock isn't nerfed, Reddit goes re. But I think that's mostly new players, because newer players, when facing Warlocks, are going to get smoked.
Okay,
here's
a question, though.
Mm-hmm.
What does Warlock suck at?
PvP.
What does Warlock actually suck at?
So
where's the downside?
I know what somebody's trying to get at, because I think Warlock is getting the same wizard treatment where is wizard used to be, it's a very hard puzzle to solve, but it's a solvable puzzle.
Yes.
And players just don't like want to put the effort into playing correctly against a certain class. They just want to hold W in a direction and get kills for free. That's honestly what a large majority of this player base is. They just want to put on good gear, hold W, and hopefully kill their opponent. And when some classes just say, sorry, you can't do that to me, they get mad and they go to Reddit. That's the reality. The same thing happened to Wizard for the ground. Now people are complaining about the Warlock, and it's the same thing. But I will say, Warlock is really frustrating and really strong in multiples. That's where I find it to be the most annoying. Like one Warlock on a team, one Warlock in solos, not a problem. You can deal with it. But once you have like 2 Warlocks in duos or like 2 Warlocks in a trios team, it just becomes a fucking mess. There's Hydras in every doorways. They're healing infinitely. You get one low, he phantomizes, and the other one covers for him. Then you get that one low, then he phantomizes, and the other one covers for him. And it's just like, it is so much more frustrating in multiples. And I think the problem should be addressed in that sense, even I know it's not going to be. But that's just kind of my
I still think we shouldn't allow class stacking in duos and trios.
I got no problem with class stacking still. I think that would just break too much of it. I think having the class stacking would be weird to be like, no, you're 2 warlocks. You can't have that much magic together. Like, it just seems like a weird thing to change. But as far as what you're talking about with the problem in warlocks, I think it's always been from an angle of sustain and how they've pushed the game in a direction of trying to get people to sit and relax and go in between fights and restore for the next fight and prepare for the next battle. And warlocks don't fucking do that. Warlocks just aggressively push through everything. The more aggressive and more that you pull, the better you're doing. You can just drag shit around with you and run trains on people if you want. Warlocks are infinite sustain machines with tools of a Swiss Army knife value that can perform exceptional in every single aspect, and they have a minimal downside. Like other classes, what's their problem? Cleric, T-Rex range. Wizard, no HP. Rogue, T-Rex range, no HP, big burst. Warlock, well, you know, they just kind of have to, you have to play absolutely perfectly, and they have to play like shit in order for you to really get an advantage.
Well, Warlocks don't have crazy high bursts. Like, that's like their thing.
No.
They're
but
like
they have
slow
infinite
damage.
sustain.
Yeah, they kill you slowly.
Like, they kill you slowly, and you don't get a chance to peel off, reset, do anything. The things that the game has been pushed in the direction of, which is like slowing the combat pace, making sure you're prepared for every fight. They took away like the tranquility, the clarity. They took away everything that like makes you into a buff ball of imminent doom. And then they just leave warlocks untouched as an infinite sustain machine. And that's where it's like everybody else is getting put into this bucket of like, well, slow down there, Timmy. Don't go W keying too hard now. And warlocks are just like, I'm just gonna dot and walk around. Fuck everything about your game. That's how I feel. They really do like stand out against what their design decision seems to be pushing the format of the gameplay loop towards. That's why I don't like it. Like everybody else, I have to cast one spell, I have to sit.
I don't know that I agree with that the game has been designed to slow down. I think if anything, the game's gotten faster.
They've added HP. They've moved out the abilities that would be used while working. They removed the clarity potions. Like in the general direction of the game, the movement has slowed.
Your PvP takes the time to kill is now higher for PvP.
Yeah.
But in general, players are better equipped. They move around faster. Access to healing is easier than ever before.
That's just a player skill curve improving.
With the exception of the potion stacking meta of the past, but you're just able to move around the map and clear PvE so quickly now, regardless of where you are, that I don't feel like the game has slowed down. But I sort of with you on what you're saying with Warlock. I'm not necessarily agreeing with the certain keynotes, but I genuinely I think Warlock's fine, except high gear Demon Warlock is just completely fucking broken. It is just untenable. It's very rare to see because not a lot of people play Demon Lock, and even less people play it in really high gear. But I had a very, very good kid on a fighter, and a Demon Lock just W keyed me. I was weapons away with sprint up, and he's got his heater shield and his Chris on, and he's still keeping up with me. And I'm like, how is he over movement speed cap so that while he's got his weapons out, he's still at 330? And then I went and looked, and the guy's just got so much movement speed that he's over cap while he's in demon form because of the stacks, and like doing so much more damage than me while also being tankier. And I'm like, this just something about this doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I ran into like a 50 edgy Demon Lock earlier today, and I was like, this is awful.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. You can't do anything. It's just
still as a cleric, I haven't really had the problem with Demon Locks. I think the trading potential with fighter and like melee Demon Lock and everything seems to work out in cleric's favor if they're trying to engage. At least that's been my experience with those classes.
Yeah, no. But I will reiterate, I think Warlock in solos, as long as there's one of them, it's like super manageable. But whenever there's more than one of them, I think Hydra has to have a cooldown or something. Because I'm just so tired of these fights against like triple Warlock teams, double Warlock teams, where they just get to infinitely stall a fight out. Like a fight will just go for 7 minutes. They'll never kill us. Well, they'll kill us eventually, but like they won't be able to kill us fast. But they will make it so we can never ever push them. Because if you want to push, you're pushing into 2 Hydras and a Hellfire. And then if you ever do get on them, one of them's Anima. It's so frustrating when there's just more than one.
And then the third party shows up and you get fucking resource starved by it.
The other problem with Warlock is that when played correctly, And I think maybe this turns into an issue where like we need to change the cast speed of Hydra or something. Like make Hydra take longer to cast so that it's not something they can just keep throwing out and stay mobile and heal off of it. Because I feel like that's part of their identity. You can't really take that away from them, but you can slow it down by making Hydra take a longer time to cast, so that a good Warlock player can't just infinitely keep you at arm's length and just dance on you until you eventually get worn down.
I just had an idea. No, not the casting speed. The actual animation of the void that summons the Hydra shouldn't just be like immediate pop-up. It should actually like, if it had the audio cue where the portal began and then the Hydra popped out in like a 3 or 5 second animation, so that like, first off, you get the audio cue as an enemy team and you're like, all right, this guy's summoning a Hydra, and the Hydra isn't immediately blocking the doorway. It actually takes time to spawn, or like how the Trent just kind of like takes a couple seconds to grow. Maybe the actual problem comes from...
You'd have to make it longer if you do that. You definitely would have to
Well, yeah, you can make it longer, but the counterplay is there. Now you've got, like Ken's saying, the annoyance comes from like constantly spamming Hydra. Oh, I hear that they're going to be putting out a Hydra. I've got at least time to react, respond, adjust. And then they're not spamming it because it's going to take a little bit longer to get them out. Yes, it doesn't like completely...
So they wouldn't be able to place their heals on it?
It's a really good idea, actually, because like...
Then they wouldn't be able to put their heals on it, or they wouldn't be able to curse at the heal off of it as fast.
Because it's not an immediate return. They've lost the life, and they haven't immediately started draining the reinvestment for it. I like that idea.
That's a really good idea, actually. I like that a lot. Because like right now, the problem is like we'll get chip damage on a lock. Then it's like, okay, if we got chip damage, we should push now. And like by the time you make the decision to push, they've already spawned a Hydra, life drained, got 2 ticks, and they're full HP. And like, I give you 2 seconds and you're full HP again. It's
okay for them to be able to do that off of PvE. I think it's okay for them to be able to do that because you know that the Warlock is going to do that. You know that's how they work. And you can manipulate the PvE and you can make sure that they can't sit in a comfortable position if you know the PvE is on them.
Or you've cleared that PvE there, like me and you did the one match. We specifically knew that there was Juice Warlocks in there, and we cleared the area in anticipation of fighting the Warlocks in this spot because we knew there was no fucking monsters for them to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
No drain bags, no blood bags for you.
That's a really good idea.
But that's like the lobby's going to disappear, so we're never going to have that idea. We just have to clear every single room, every single part of it, scrub it clean, leave nothing, no spider jars, nothing to suck off of. I missed one zombie spawn and we wiped. I'm sorry, Odin.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Hydra taking longer to become active, if for nothing else than to prevent them from being able to instantly start healing off of it. I mean, they've played with the heal or the health cost amount enough to the point now where it is costly. And I think that playing around their usage of it and pushing like right after they've casted it is a good idea. So I think, if you made it so that it takes longer to summon, they can't just like aggressively throw it forward, use it to do like lightning coil bullshit, trap people against walls. If you push a Hydra that's already up, that's on you. But if they push it down, they just like carelessly throw it down, waste all that health, and they're not immediately healing back off of it again. It actually gives you the ability to push them. You just have to do it with, you just have to pay attention.
I like it. We've solved Warlock.
You're welcome, guys.
Good job.
You just killed Warlocks and solos. You
everyone
just made the reign of rogues even higher.
And Reddit
bring them, brothers.
The rogue thing is a separate problem, and let's talk about rogues now because rogues.
It's a separate problem, but if you nerf any of the classes that can deal with that, chiefly the Warlock, then you've really increased the power of the rogue.
I agree with you, but that means we also need to do something about rogue because they've been the fucking kings for too long.
Oh, I'm in again. Of it. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, they've been kings for too long. I've always 100% agreed with you that Invis has no place in the video game. Like it's Invis potion is fine in my opinion because it is very difficult to Invis potion. At least in solos, it's very difficult to Invis potion without being close enough for them to hear it.
Right.
I can barely remember a time when I've gotten killed by somebody who used an invis potion because I just wasn't paying attention.
but let's just say like the person using the invis pot like is also ranged, and you don't have to get close to him for to be in kill range.
The landmine wizard thing might be an exception to the rule here.
I'm getting him nerfed. I'm getting him fucking nerfed. This next video.
Even landmine fucking smite bonk cleric or smite judge cleric has been. We did that for a while where we just baited people in with our naked cleric self, ran away, and then Ken's like, haha.
Yeah,
burst.
I think this Invis pot just fallen out of favor and people just aren't using him. And that's why it's not really annoying right now. I think people just aren't using him. And I don't know why. I'm using them, and I started using them on Cleric. I've used them on Wizard now, and every time I literally call them free kill pots when I buy them. When I go to the marketplace, I'm gonna get my free kill pots because they are just pots that give you free kills. To turn you into a rogue.
Odin.
I think they're just not very good in solos, so that's probably because there's still a lot of players that just play solos. I just don't think they're all that useful in solos, but I can definitely see like duos and trios, especially trios. It's so easy to lose track of one person if you're fighting in between multiple rooms, and like if they just chug it into this pot and you fall for a trap, it's like you feel like a dumbass afterwards, but at the same time, it's like, well, there were so many things going on, it's kind of understandable. But tangent aside, I don't know. I don't know that I like Invis. I've never enjoyed the mechanic in a game like this where you die and you lose your shit. In World of Warcraft arenas and stuff, when Rogue having Invis as part of their kit, you can detect them if you get close enough to them. It doesn't feel broken because it's just not the design of the game. It doesn't like it, especially with the time to kill in World of Warcraft. But in Dark and Darker, and I just don't like Invis, and I wish that they would just redesign Rogue to take away Invis entirely and beef up other parts of their kit. But at the same time, as Josh was saying, you can play Rogue without Invis right now, and it's still disgusting. So I think
Creep apparently.
Creep is ridiculously good too, but I don't know. It's just Rogue is able to do way too much damage up front with their burst, but they're also able to stay away from you at all times if they want. They can always get away from a fight, and they can pester you really well with ranged damage, throwing knives and crossbows. They're too good, and I don't feel like they have any bad matchups.
No, Rogue has no bad matchup, and it's such pussy play to like. You've tried to make the game so equal for fights with like nice time to kill, and the only class that constantly defies that is Rogue, and somehow they keep getting buffed. It just makes no sense that you can 3 or 4 shot anybody no matter what gear level they're in by just sneaking up or just sitting somewhere in Viz, and like it drives me wild.
It's crazy that Rogue had like one bad matchup or like 2 maybe. Like PDR fighter, PDR cleric, and they're like, well, let's just give them a fuck ton of armor pen.
Yeah,
because
on the discussion of that, yeah.
God forbid they have a bad matchup.
And that's without stacking it. Like you don't even need gear. You just go with like a blue stiletto and like dog shit, and you just 3 or 4 shot almost anybody.
Pretty much just enough strength to get positive PDB, and you're good to go.
I guess Barb is a bad matchup, but kind of. But
it's not though, because
you just fight them.
You just kite them forever.
Them
You kite them You kite them until you've whittled down a percentage of their massive HP pool, and then you just turn around with ambush and fucking
that's every fight
them.
with the rogue. You just whenever I'm fighting a rogue, it's a countdown timer of how many times are they going to shoot me before I catch them? Is it worth the investment to continue chasing this? When somebody third parties me, am I going to spend all of my resources to chase down this one little shit rogue with 2 hand cross? Yes, the answer is always yes. Fuck you, rogue. I'm going to chase you to the ends of the earth. I will die for this kill. So. But
you and the horse you rode in on.
It's constantly just like gunslingers. Haha, you're poisoned. Like, okay, can you get to a door or a corner now so I can cave your skull in? Thank you very much. But that was another problem too with it. Yeah.
I saw somebody in chat say, okay, except everybody Barb is running move speed kit now. Yeah, but if your Barb's running move speed kit, he's squishy as shit.
Yeah, but you don't armor doesn't do anything. So like the thing about Barb is right, you could just stack
you just get as much HP
and HP, yeah. So like that's what Rogue struggles with. They don't deal like larger numbers of damage. They just have fast attacks and a lot of pen. So like,
I mean, they do still hit really hard if they're running weak point ambush. They do shit loads of damage with weak point ambush. You go up to like a dummy with a decent kit on Rogue weak point ambush. You're hitting like 70, 80 damage in the head, and those are fucking flying out, dude. You're doing like 150 DPS. And you're staying mobile, and you can duck and dodge while you're on top of somebody. And I think one thing that might actually counterplay rogues is quarterstaff barbarian, but you literally never see that anymore. That doesn't exist.
No, the move speed bonus was what you would normally utilize for running a quarterstaff so that you can keep up on targets. And since the move speed meta has slightly shifted and everybody's gotten a little bit faster, you don't need to have the quarterstaff. You can still use your ideal weapons and maintain those move speed caps.
It's less about the move speed cap and more about the swing pattern of quarterstaff being really good for dealing with a target that wants to get
like a
you and dance around you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We haven't even talked about silence. God, I fucking hate silence for cutthroat.
Yes.
We're beating a dead horse with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know
nobody likes the silence mechanic?
Do you know that if you have intense focus procced, it just completely gets rid of it?
Yeah,
if you
it'll purge your bard buffs too. It removes them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Love that.
It shuts down and peels those buffs right off. But it's inconsistent as well because it doesn't peel off certain effects. It's weird. It's weird the way it's coded because there's like different effects for silence. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense. But
a little
things.
side note. If we're gonna keep Cutthroat in the game, can we make the animation on it a different color? So I know when a rogue has Cutthroat definitively. I know that there's a different shade, but it looks so similar to Weak Point. They're both just shades of purple. No rupture. If it could just be green or blue, just so when I see a rogue, I'm like, oh, he has Cutthroat. I have to play accordingly. But right now, I just see glowy hands. It could be anything. I don't fucking know.
I think it also needs to, because it doesn't go away if you shoot with a hand crossbow and miss. So if you shoot with Cutthroat, because if you shoot with rupture
goes off. Yeah, if you miss,
and same with Weak Point,
sticks in the wall.
But
no,
for some reason,
Weak Point doesn't go away. Weak Point is only for melee attacks now.
Okay, that's been a while since I've run.
I think if you miss Cutthroat, it does go away.
It didn't before, and I talked to Grayson about it a while back, and I think he said it was intentional, but I don't know if that ever got changed. If it was, I don't remember seeing it in the patch notes.
I'm pretty sure Cutthroat goes away when you miss with hand crossbow.
Okay, well, it used to not be able to, or it used to not go away, so if it does, that's good. That's how it should be. I don't know, like, Rogue has been in this position for a really long time because for a while when there was just, everything was just buff ball, Rogue was really weak in trios because you had to play a really specific way and your team had to play around you and you had to look for the assassination kills in order to equalize it. And very few people found any sort of success with that strategy. Now I feel like Rogue does so much damage and they're so self-sufficient in moving around the dungeon and avoiding shit that you can just stick a Rogue on a comp and just have them just be like a flanking harasser while the team kind of like keeps distance. And you just make one mistake, and the rogue gets on the squishiest part of your party, and they're just deleted.
Or the tankiest.
Yeah, or the tankiest. Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter anymore because they just pen 70%.
Let's move on to Druid,
40% damage bonus with thrust and dagger mastery and shit. Yeah, it's a little silly.
Goodbye, druids.
Druids, like clerics, have been nerfed in 3 consecutive patches. Although Druid, I think, has been hit a little bit worse. So the first, 3 hotfixes back, nerf Dreamwalk. Hotfix after that, nerfs to Panther, Neckbite, 2 different times. And then overall move speed, I think. Or was it Panther move speed? Sorry. And then most recently, and then most recently, Thorn Barrier and Tree Ants suffer the Iron Hammer. How do we feel about Druid right now?
Well, I don't play much Druid, but I do play against Druid a lot. And I'm just saying, the world feels like a better place when I don't have to worry about Panthers walking at me and 2-shotting me. That being said, it does feel really bad probably for the Druid players because they've been hit in all aspects of their kit multiple times. And I think Druid is still viable at the high end with super gear, but just at the low end, it's just been destroyed. Basically, if you just want to play Druid at the low end, you are just a rat. Basically, you're just running around scavenging for items and running away and never actually taking a fight because you can't win a fight.
Counterpoint: they are the best babysitter class in the entire game, and it is impossible to push a Druid that's built for bear. So if you have any form of range damage on your team.
Yeah, but that's geared. It's a geared thing, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I do think Druid in general in low gear probably doesn't feel great. I haven't really touched mine much since, I don't know, the first couple of weeks. It's not my forte.
Druid
but,
with no gear is just very much more on the angle of support because what scales off of them is completely irrelevant on the healing side. There's nothing for them to scale off on healing. So a support Druid is a very strong base kit Druid, but that's not a solo Druid. Solo Druid is garbage. It has nothing to offer as far as increased damage. It's very slippery and it heals well, but on its own, it's not going to kill anything, and it's just going to die to the first engagement that corners him. But yeah, it is just... it's a much better trios support than it is a solo naked character.
100% agree.
And I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
I think I know why it's like this is like a hard problem to solve, right? I think anytime you have a class like this that they want to have multiple different play styles, it's always going to be hard because in the previous reiteration of Druid, it's like you never actually had to choose what playstyle you were. You could just do them all at once. You could just stack Agi and be this crazy assassin threat, but all of your utility spells still work just the same. They don't have scaling, so you're not losing anything. So like you're this crazy good assassin that could just be a healer, that could just be a control mage, that could also just be good with a melee, like with a spear, that gets a get out of jail free card phantomize. So if you ever get jumped, you just phantomize. Like it's the fact that they could do all of it that made it really annoying. I think they just have to have some kind of way where you have to choose what your play style is. And I think this goes for Cleric too. This goes for Bard. This is like not just a Druid issue. I think we just really need skill trees. If you had to specialize, okay, I am the feral Druid. I am specializing in the Panther and the Bear, and I am melee. Or I want to be the spellcasting healing Druid, and then you have to specialize for that. You have to like pick and choose your lane. If you want to be the AoE buff Bard guy, or if you want to be the fighter Bard, the fact that all these hybrid classes could do everything without having to specialize is like the problem. Cleric is the same shit.
I don't know if I agree on Cleric at all. It seems like you spec into melee and like your heals are piss. Your heals are absolute piss. Your nukes are like 20 damage. It's like I'd be better off throwing a fucking torch.
Yeah, but they don't have to be. You could very easily have plus true fizz and healing on the same ring. You could easily have strength and healing on the same chest.
Because they're off meta items, but they're still
they're not off meta.
That's an expensive kit. You're talking about a pretty expensive kit now.
You can do it
on any. You could do that on Druid if you want to put 20k into a fucking piece of gear.
Honestly, I'm not really sure I can build magical healing on my wizard. I really don't think that would do much for me, sadly.
You could.
I could.
Potion Chugger Wizard with resourcefulness. Learn the meta.
I bet.
Yeah, I'm with you on needing class trees. I think they've done a really good job of like grabbing a bunch of perks that really sucked and making them better. And I think they're still working on doing that to bring more of the perks up in line. But I almost wonder if it'd be better if, like, instead of having 4 perk slots, we had 8, and the perks were a little bit more defined. So maybe instead of having to do a skill tree, you just have more choices in how your character is designed, but each one of the perks is less like, oh, because if you have eight perks right now with the way the perks are, some classes would just be fucking insane. They would just be so broken. But if you split out some of the parts of the perks and let people sort of hone in on very specific things a little bit more, add rapier mastery to fighter. Well, I mean, they already have sword mastery, so it's a bad example. But you can use rapier now because you've weapon mastery and you can run sword mastery on it. So now you can kind of play that like high speed fencer fighter, which is really interesting. But not a lot of classes have gotten that kind of thing. Like you said, Bard is really still a completely one-dimensional class. They're insanely good, but they only have one build.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh,
like I said, it could be perks, it could be skill trees, it could be anything. It just has to be something. The forced specialization. Sorry, but yeah, Josh, take it away.
No, I largely agree with everything you guys just said. And like Druid sucked in solos for a while. These most recent nerfs didn't really change anything. It mostly affected group play. And the issue with Druid has always been, after the initial like round of nerfs, is that in order to get it to be viable, you have to spend way more than any other class does to be equally as viable. And like Kent's saying, you can't like Druid it can't be specialized in multiple things. Unless you go extremely expensive, so every gear piece is strength plus agi, so you can do like Bear and Panther, but either way, like one of those things is weak, or like weaker. But like, I agree with you, it's really good in base kit as a support character, and it's good at babysitting, like you said, because you go Bear, and then people don't want to push, and then your 2 range characters can still operate. But like largely, especially solos, I haven't really played my Druid at all. I feel like it's like worthless.
Yeah,
like,
I've
what
only
can I do
ever been
that
scared
I
of
can
Bear.
do? Yeah, like a Bear slaps, but like even a lot of times, even if they do like some like really high tech skill shift, or like I screw up a little bit and they get the Bear headshot, like they'll still end up losing because like the cat blows if they're bear, right? You just like melee their cat twice and it dies, or what have you. But like to me that might be fine. Hopefully the other forms maybe more spells like round the class out, but I don't. It's for me it's okay to have a class that's specifically good at duos and trios, kind of like how wizard is. Like you really don't see a lot of wizards, or you didn't used to, at all in solos, but it's still like a really powerful class in certain settings.
I think also the fact that Druid can get away from everything whenever they want, as long as you're proficient with door jumping, gives them gives them a place in solo, because you can be the ultimate rat and you can be the ultimate third party bastard.
That's what I always do. I show up and I heal people. I find two teams fighting and I go, oh shit, I commentate them in VoIP, and then whoever wins and doesn't try to kill me, I heal them off and go along my merry way. It's just fun. The Druid is still fun.
Yeah,
as far as combat
class.
Efficiency, not a great solo.
You're not the Apex Predator in the lobby like you were when they first came out.
No.
The thing that gives me hope is the fact that shape-shifting opportunities are only going to increase, right? We're going to have more animal forms. Thanks to One Peg once again. Another shout outs to One Peg Love Fest here today. He did an awesome interview, like really, really good job with Terrence and SDF, and he got a ton of really good information about what's coming out over the next 6 to 12 weeks and then even further out. But one of the things that sounds like they are pretty actively working on, other than Sorcerer, is the next Druid animal forms. And they included Gorilla, which you would think would be strength-based. They included Turtle, which I don't even know, probably Vigor. And then Penguin. That might be a resourcefulness play. But I think once you get to the point where you've got 10, even 8 would be just crazy difference. And you've got 2 different animal forms that can both scale off of the same attribute. That's going to feel a lot better as a Druid player. So then you can have a more well-defined play style and say, okay, I'm going to be a shapeshifter Druid. I'm going to have 2 wheels for this. I know what attributes I'm going to need, or I'm going to go pure caster, and hopefully they can do something to make Druids a little bit more effective as a caster. I think the tree ant nerf down to 2 might have been a little heavy-handed. And I was trying to remember, did they start out with 3 charges when Druid first came out?
I was going to say they had 4, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Was it always
Definitely
4?
4.
Okay, all right. So yeah, 4 down to 2 felt a little heavy. I think the nerf to the thorn barrier of like 20 height or whatever it was, that's probably fine. But the treant nerf felt a little heavy. And you guys mentioned that a lot of their stuff doesn't scale. Maybe they need to look into allowing some of it to scale so that a pure Druid caster is going to be viable. Because once those all the animal forms come out, I think you're going to see very few actual caster Druids.
Yeah, I just want to be able to make a choice between being a full casting Druid and a full shapeshift Druid. I think that would be great. I think they should force you to choose, honestly. If you want to do shapeshift, you should be fully shapeshifting. And if you want to be a caster, you should be fully caster.
Well, you could do hybrid, but you would understand that you are not going to be that effective at either. You'll be the jack of all trades, right? But yeah, I'm with you on that.
But no, I'm excited. Like I said, I want to play 10 spell Druid so bad. I'm just not about the shapeshifting. I get it. It's strong. People like it. It's just not for me. But if I could just have 10 spells, go in there and just throw spells at people, that's all I want to do.
Yeah, God damn it, get your feet out. You're petting the
dogs
fucking
in the
cat.
camera.
I hate you so much. I just want to pet the cat.
She's right there. She's a perfect little footstool.
Son of a bitch.
Her eyes are white as saucers. She's just looking at the ceiling. It's like there's like spiders up there or something.
Can I open my floodgates of rage as a cleric time?
Yes, we might as well hit that. So Druid got nerfed. Let's go through the cleric chronology
Cleric
here.
got buffed.
First, it was the nerf to blunt weapon mastery from 15 down to 10. I guess that's fine. 15 may have been a little much. I don't see a lot of clerics run that unless they're solo or they're frontlining. But before Perseverance and PFE were nerfed, like you weren't giving either one of those up. So you're always running Perseverance, PFE, and Advanced Healer. And Faithfulness was not yet nerfed. So it was like, okay, who's running blunt weapon mastery unless they're playing solo? So I didn't feel like it was a major issue, but they nerfed it. I wasn't mad about it. It just wasn't great. Next, they nerf Smite and Faithfulness, which, okay, the Smite nerf wasn't that significant, right? It was 1 down to 0.75, I think.
Yeah.
And then Faithfulness nerf was fair. I like the way they approached the Faithfulness nerf. It wasn't fun for me as a cleric knowing that, you know, I get one chance to kill someone, but yeah.
Even
then
pre-nerf Faithfulness, I had problems catching targets, just to
Yeah.
clarify.
right. Buffs, we got 1. No, that's not true. We got buffs to cast time on Sanctuary, Locust Swarm, Earthquake, and Holy Strike. The Holy Strike buff actually surprised the hell
That's
out
the
of me
big
because
buff.
that's the thing that people most hate, especially in combination with Faithfulness. But I'll turn it over to the end boss for more analysis.
This is obviously a place that I did not want to have to go, but we are here. I don't think that was the proper nerf. Also, when you mentioned taking Perseverance is never something you wanted to wear on anything below like 45% PDR. The more PDR you had, the better Perseverance was, and that was part of the problem. Was the scaling with it was very good in the high end of gear. Taking 3 damage off of 100 damage getting slapped into your face was nothing, but taking 3 damage off of 25 damage, that's insane. Now we're scaling it up to an insane height. But the other problem was that I think those were 2 of the things that defined Cleric as a class, was both a combination of Perseverance and protection from evil. The actual, like, the nerf to protection from evil is so much worse than people are even starting to understand. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about. And I've been like sitting there doing my little internal math, trying to figure out exactly how I can describe the problem and how it's going to compound itself later for clerics. But it's actually insane. Like, many mechanics on Cleric were admittedly completely convoluted and confusing, much like the debuff duration and what it impacted and how it actually broke other spells on you. But for example, things like being hit with an ignite. All right, I have a wizard with super giga juiced gear. He comes up to me and he smacks me with a staff ignite. I've got protection from evil on. It reduces the ignite duration to a point, coupled with my will and debuff resistance, to where the ignite ticks at best once. The nerf from 50 to 30% takes probably, I was going through like, I think 65% of the abilities that used to not tick at all or tick once, and now they're ticking twice. So like poison on rogues, that would barely get 1 tick off. They're getting 2 now. But getting hit by a cinder actually did not deal any additional fire damage to you because of the speed of the debuff being purged. It didn't have time. Now you're getting hurt by cinder, which is, you know, one of the many examples. You're actually going to be taking significantly more damage over time on clerics from different spells, abilities, and debuffs that you didn't even notice were a problem before because you were just rolling them off before you were taking damage.
Honestly, it sounds great.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's more of the it's combination with that plus the reduced damage from Perseverance. It is a significant nerf. Like people that are like, oh, clerics are still strong. This is just like one of those, like, on the surface it looks like, okay, it's not that bad. No, it's pretty bad. As somebody that plays cleric as much, I've just been getting absolutely destroyed. And then to buff the rogues on top of it, like, for me, I was always never afraid of rogue on the previous iteration of cleric. I would just walk through them, even if they had to landmine really fucking hard, and I had to not even expect a rogue to exist and get ambushed while I'm knee deep in loot to die. And now it's like rogues are just walking through everybody. But yes, the cleric nerfs were pretty significant. The Locust Swarm change, absolute dog water. Another example of I don't think that they really know how to fix that skill. And I don't understand that. The buffs to caster cleric are great in a meta where there's not going to be any caster clerics because Druid can just heal and run away. I don't like that they're putting cleric into more of a caster centric role, and then just rogues are going around eating every version of that cleric.
I feel like they have to in order to justify adding a paladin later on, which they said they wanted. I don't think you can keep.
I don't have a paladin. I don't even see a paladin. I can't smell a fucking paladin. So don't go gutting me. Right? While you're like, yeah, we thought about maybe adding a paladin.
Let's calm down with gutting, okay? Let's not say.
I'm just saying it's pretty. That for me was the biggest thing.
Cleric is still very fucking good.
Cleric is still good. Cleric will still be a melee class. The plate changes were the biggest problem. When I was watching the nerfs go through to Cleric in phases, like Smite nerf, okay, they're slowly kind of turning back and looking into what they could do to fix Cleric. Faithfulness nerf, okay, slowly. Then they're like, the two major things that I thought really gave Cleric its own unique identity, which is PFE and Perseverance, are both, spanked like
who's taking Perseverance now? To me, it's dead. Like, who's taking it?
I still take it.
Why?
Even full plate, it's not that great.
Warlock's their thing.
Yeah, it's really good against Warlock. Straight up.
And poison. It gets all damage every time. Yeah, it's just so good if you're playing heavy.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, I didn't like PFE. I don't like PFE. I didn't like PFE back when I was 50%. But
the
I'm
Locust Swarm change,
crazy.
though, Ken. I think it was with you when I were running a full knowledge set and tried to. Oh no, it was with One Peg. I think it was a full Locust Swarm on him did like 40 damage, and that's in normal gear. A full channel with Faithfulness and a staff did 40 damage.
And
it doesn't scale anymore.
Doesn't scale, yeah. That's good.
So it doesn't do. I was using it in normals and it had no effectiveness. It's still like the fundamental problem with Locust Swarm hasn't been the damage. It's the fact that you're taking a complete class out of play to use a shitty ability. Give me a Molly and it's better.
It needs to just be a consecrate ground kind of spell.
I called I agree it should sit on the ground or it should move. It should be like a wall of locusts that moves forward and actually can go through a choke and push into an enemy team. Do anything else.
Would actually be kind of cool if you could channel it, and while it's being channeled, you could direct it with your hand to move it around with the cursor. That would be kind of cool. Because then you can move it and get it around corners to flush people out.
Even if you just send it and it moves forward in a straight line and lets the Cleric do anything else. Because right now, I see no reason to still use Locust Swarm over any Molotov or any oil bottle.
They should also just give it to Druid. They should just change it to a Druid
spell. You know what?
I agree.
I'm just that.
Yep. Yeah, thematically.
It just seems like they're working on that spell, and it's like they're working in directions that aren't actually favorable to Cleric in any way. They took away the scaling, and it doesn't do anything in normals. They did nothing to Locust Swarm, in my opinion. But they are looking at it, which shows that they know that it's absolutely underutilized and completely poop. It's poop.
Cleric's busted.
It's still ridiculously strong.
I agree that Cleric is a very strong class. Don't engage them in melee and you won't have to worry about it. Don't think you're trading and you're winning that trade. Just expect that you're not supposed to.
All I know is if I'm having a bad day on any other class that I'm playing, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to buy a purple Morningstar and a pair of purple Lightfoot boots, and I'm going to go into solos naked, basically, and kill everyone.
You don't think you could do that with a rogue, though? Go in and just ambush?
I'm sure I could, but if you're saying that, okay, well, the only thing that is comparable to is the also broken rogue. You're in yourself. It's broken.
I mean, no, it's just putting yourself. If you're using that play style,
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you might as well take a purple Feliax and purple Lightfoots.
Yeah, I specifically just want to turn my brain off and just go get free kills. So I play Cleric.
Yeah,
I smite, divine protection. I have 40% PDR for free.
Of the Feliax, how do we feel about fighters and barbarians on this patch right now? I think fighter is another one of those classes. Man. It is the most represented class when we saw some of that data that was released recently. I think fighter's in a really good spot right now.
Agreed.
And I don't think that fighter has been a problem this wipe. I think that they were a problem at certain points last wipe and the wipe before that, but I think they've been very well balanced this season.
I'll touch on that actually, because I think fighters are borderline overpowered, and they have been this entire season. The problem is that they're just overshadowed by frontline Cleric. Everything that your frontline fighter would do, your frontline Cleric will do that, and then also bring Sanctuary. So why would I bring the fighter? That's
thank you.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's not that fighter isn't good at what it does. It's just it's just overshadowed by the better frontline.
And a Cleric would win against a fighter in a frontline war. If you put them right next to each other, the smite goes right through the armor pen on the bonks. It's just it's a fight.
It could be different now. It could be different now.
Yeah, it's very different.
They Morningstars and stuff and flange.
And they got poke. And Cleric is just hold on, I'll catch you eventually. Please stop crossbowing me.
How's a barbarian feeling? I know, Josh, you were playing a bunch of barbarian recently. Have you played since they did the two-handed weapons buffs? Because Bardiche is only -40 now. I think Feliax is only -30 now.
No, I played it pre-buff, and I already felt like it was really strong for what it did. I mean, it was a really, really good class with high speed, and you could win most trades. So when I saw the patch notes, I'm sure it's just better than it was.
Yeah,
because I was already at max move speed, and then it got a buff. So And then the weapons got buffed, the perk got buffed, and then their overall movement speed from rage got buffed. So yeah, it felt fine to me. I mean, it's still barbarian, right? If it catches you, you're dead, especially rogue, or if you have Achilles. If you land the Achilles on the throwing axe against like Warlock or rogues, they're both dead. So it's got a bunch of... Yeah.
Do you feel? So you don't run Iron Will when you play your barbarian, right?
No.
Okay, so you
Why
how,
would you?
how do you fight rangers? Because
I mean-
I feel like most rangers are taking knockback arrow now, and it
Ran-
feels like that's an impossible matchup.
Ranger's a tough class. Like, it's pretty counter to any fast class if the ranger is also fast, and especially with a serve bow with quad knockback and the new resourcefulness thing, where they're getting their cooldowns back faster. That's like a tough matchup. But the ranger also has to play well because it's shooting a serve bow, right? So like if I dip and dodge and he only hits me once with the knockback, like I'm moving at 110% move speed, so like I will get to you, and if you don't do enough damage, like you're dead. So at that point, it's a trade. Plus, with the barb, especially at max move speed, I can always just run away. I can go like break doors and like pull monsters and like savage roar or what have you to get away.
Mhm.
But I mean that's a good counter class. I think that's a good counter class to like everything at the moment. If I had space to make a character slot, I would have made a ranger because I do 8 characters and 1 permadeath. So like I just can't play one class every wipe. It's like right now it's ranger, but I was feeling like a fast ranger with like a servo, kind of like what Ken's saying. Like if you took a purple servo and purple lightfoots, I think you could just cruise around that dungeon and get tons and tons of kills.
Not Like This did a video. I just watched it earlier today where he was doing 250 gold kits.
I saw that video. Good video.
Yeah, a great video. And he did one where he was playing ranger, and all he did was go in with movement speeds, boots, agility helmet, and like a blue longbow, and he was killing people with like multi-shot. And I feel like ranger has once again slowly crept up to being insanely strong, and it's getting overshadowed by the other problems, but it's actually in a really, really good spot right now.
Yeah, they cope their way to being overpowered again. It's like the Ranger special. That's crazy.
God damn it, Rush Frog.
Dude, blame him specifically. That is the hardest complainer of any. That is Ranger's most powerful fucking ally right there.
Then Vincent.
Yeah,
He
but
was
when
great,
Vincent's
but-
playing it, it's just unfair. Like he's not allowed. He shouldn't be allowed to play Ranger. I was
is
meaning to
good.
talk to Ironmace about that.
He is too good.
I don't
You
know.
need
I only
to tell
watched him
Barry.
once and
Can't
one
let him do
round
this.
in a 15k kit, and a wizard killed him with instacast. Instacast fireball into double zap, and he died.
Let's
The
go.
first night I played with Vincent was just so much damn fun. It was just like you when you can count on someone to do exactly what you want them to do and win. He's
God,
like, you can just
what's
go
that
do your
like?
thing. Yeah, I don't know so bad. I died. Why are you taxing the weapon I have equipped so bad? Don't tax my fucking main hand weapon. I won't be able to hit anything.
I'm a goblin, dude. You know what you're getting when you come play with me.
Get taxed.
Get fucking death tax, baby.
So bad. I don't have a weapon. Well, you should have thought about that before you died.
Yes,
God damn
that
it.
does sound like me.
Ken, tell us about Wizard. It's the only class we haven't talked about.
The buffs, the nerfs. Hey, Crystal Sword got buffed. That's cool. I love the
Meditate
Crystal
got
Sword.
buffed to the fucking
Yeah, we
roof.
get there.
Mm-hmm.
So Crystal Sword, notoriously probably the worst weapon in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and still is, but it's better. So that's cool.
No, I think Hatchet has it beat. I think Hatchet is still the worst weapon in the game.
I have died to more hatchets than Crystal Swords. That's all I'm saying. But
I don't
Still haven't died to a
that's true.
Warhammer.
I don't think that's true. I love Warhammer, dude. That weapon is so slept on.
That's great. It's because it should be slept on, because it should be buried 6 feet under the ground, because it's shit.
So on the Meditate, I haven't played much with Meditate, but I've been playing with Jay a bunch, and Jay's been running Meditate, and I've been playing Instant Cast, and we've been playing like Duo Wizard, and the new Meditate is great. I love it. I'm not gonna say it's OP because it's fucking Meditate.
Well,
But-
Ken, is it what I thought it was when they doubled the tick rate, so they doubled the
Yeah,
amount of
yeah.
like 50% more spells return? Okay.
Basically, I'm just sitting there with like intense focus, just ready to go if they ever push, or I'm sitting there invis potted, was just ready for them to push, and it's Jay just there shooting 6 fireballs, 6 magic missiles, and then just going behind a corner and getting them all back in like 5 seconds, and he just throw heat through a doorway and until he eventually splashes somebody. It's actually a lot of fun. And like he could just kill mobs. He could just kill mobs.
I love when I see
It's-
the video and I watch it. I go onto his stream and there's just 7,000 fucking light orbs in every room because it sits
yeah.
for 2 seconds and they're all
Or-
back.
We're orbiting every room we go through. He kills all the mobs
It's
for
just
me.
lit up like Christmas in there, dude. It's great.
It's great. It's like the ultimate quality of life perk. Now, like if you're a new player to the game and you want to play wizard, you could like play wizard, kill mobs, get spells back, kill mob. Like that's how you should be playing the game. It's great. It's great. Huge quality of life. It's like not going to be game breaking. You're not going to see these giga geared wizards and trios wearing full gold robes taking meditate. And if they are taking meditate, it's not going to fucking feel that bad to play against. It's just like quality of life. It's great.
It doesn't scale to be an insane bonus to the end game PvP, but it flows really well in conjunction with what Wizard needed to make them feel like a better class as a whole.
Like you're still going 5 spell if you take meditate. Like that is a huge drawback. That is a
Right.
massive drawback. So like that it's like self-balancing.
And it goes up with game sense too. Obviously, the more spells that you have and the faster you're getting them back, the more you know that you can like go into a room, pop 4 magic missiles, meditate before the next group gets to you. I think it's a really good change that doesn't, like you said, buff wizards into oblivion, but puts them in a spot where they're more functional for the skill floor. Got a little bit lower for the barrier of entry. You know, more new players are going to try wizard out, I think, and hopefully we'll see more wizards coming in as a result. I like wizards.
Like if you told me last week that Ironmace is going to make wizard viable again and it's going to be with meditate, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. But here we are.
Indeed.
No, I think that Crystal Sword buff is actually quite nice too. Like I said, when I played the Crystal Sword Fighter, I definitely noticed the difference, the movement speed and extra damage. It's a small change to 2 components that make the weapon much better. And I've also actually seen a return. It's not like a full resurgence, but I've seen a return of the Crystal Sword Bach locks are coming back.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them.
Still haven't seen Bach.
It's annoying. Actually, I hate it. Like Phantomized Bach.
Yeah, it is. It's making a comeback, and it's
nice.
It fucking sucks because they just, if you don't have enough health, they just one tap you.
Also, like,
and if you
demons could just rock a crystal sword, right?
Yep.
That would look cool.
That would look cool.
I don't know if it'd be good though, but that would look cool.
I don't know if you built Dex and then you were life stealing with fast swing speed, that could work.
I mean, I still do like the Wizard Ignite Crystal Sword, like deck stacking. I love that build. I played it yesterday. We were cutting people down. It was OP.
Are you doing that with Arcane Shield?
Yeah, even though if they, we would talk about that. Can we talk about how they nerfed Arcane Shield?
Yeah, that's
I think
fire
that's
damage.
I think that's a fine nerf because you have an instant on command protection potion that deals damage when it breaks and it scales.
It's arguably the worst wizard ability skill. It was 10 spells best, and 10's focused second best. Then probably meditate was probably still better than Arcane Shield, and then Arcane Shield
meditate. I don't know about that,
dude. I mean, I don't know.
I think they watched a Ken Nabi video and saw the power of resourcefulness coming up, and they made sure to balance it around that change. So really, this is your fault.
It was strong in solos. Okay, that's it, right? But I just hate like balancing your game around solos. And if wizards aren't dominating solos, let's not get carried away. Wizards are not fucking oppressing people in solos. It's rogues, it's clerics, it's fucking barbarians. If like God forbid the wizard could defend themselves from an ambush because they have Arcane Shield, God forbid. Holy shit. Sorry, that's my rant.
Wizard's biggest problem in solos is just that now that people become so proficient at moving around the map, you're just so likely to get third partied if you aren't like, because most other classes take their fights quickly and decisively, or they disengage quickly. But with Wizard, because you're relying on spell charges to do what you want to do, if you're taking an extended trade with somebody and you're not able to just like push to secure the kill, you are very, very susceptible to third party.
If you're in a fight, you are committed as a wizard, because like I feel like if either I commit and I kill you, or I'm not going to be able to get away because I'm probably the slowest class in the game for some reason. And it feels like I just can't.
You're an old fucking man.
I get it, dude. Yeah, arthritis. It's
stupid
rough.
Nerd. Read your books.
Can't even open doors unless I'm stacking resourcefulness.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna talk about door opening, and you're just gonna leave me down here.
No, you get no. So you get it, bro. You get it. But at least you can like stand in front of that door like really strong and won't die instantly.
Yeah, intimidatingly.
Judgment someone through.
I'll catch you eventually, you bitch.
Hey, maybe it's time for it's the dawn of the resourcefulness judgment cleric.
I already tried that. It's not enough. Judgment just doesn't cast when you want it to cast. Can we fix judgment, by the way?
So
you go ahead in there and
man,
if I still sit there fucking clapping, I will lose my damned mind. Like if Judgment just turn it into a nuke. Like I was saying this earlier, take Judgment and just make it pre-nerf range instant cast Holy Strike and just fucking be done with it already. Okay, just give me Judgment, insta cast Holy Strike, just the way it was. You know, big AOE, no wait from the delay, and then just be done with tweaking it, please.
People always say buff Judgment, but I'm like, the only buff Judgment needs is for when just Ironmace to make it work. Just so when you hit the button,
it work. Yeah,
it works.
That's it.
Crazy, holy shit.
Skill was canceled. Skill was canceled. Skill was canceled. But he doesn't. I'm not moving. He's not moving. Why is this failing?
Right. Yeah, the way it interacts with the hitbox is really odd.
If they nerf the damage, it just make an instant cast.
That's what I said. I just want it to work. I just want it to hit. If it's instant cast and it hits things, I'm cool with it.
Yep. Yeah, give me an opportunity.
I can capitalize on the slow, but instead, I find myself fighting a guy who is in a corner, which means that he can't go backwards to walk out of range. So he's running left and right, dancing around a fucking tiny pillar between us. And I'm sitting there. And he just fucking kills me. And I'm like, all right.
But
that happens a lot because
it's the worst
you reach the breaking point.
Yeah, it's the worst feeling when you're like...
Third time in the corner, I've had him in that position, and I'm just sitting there like, I could have approached you, I could have walked up to you, but goddamn it, Judgment, you will work, and it never fucking works.
Yeah, some cost fallacy.
First thought every time that happens is, why didn't I take Smite? Every single time. Yeah.
But to be fair,
that's my favorite on Rogue though. When you're
Smite Judge is my favorite.
And I'm just stabbing you in the face as Rogue, and I'm like, well, it doesn't even matter if it goes off. Like it's already like 3 stabs ago. It was too late for you.
Or the worst.
So frustrated.
The worst is when you're clamping, you're mid channel, and then you hit with a cutthroat, and it just cancels it.
Yeah, you finally get it to work it.
Yeah.
Well, gents, we're hour 30. Sorry, Mboss. I know we could talk forever about that though.
What?
Hour
Me
30
talk
minutes
forever?
in. No. Not you. Everyone else.
The yappening.
Hour 30 minutes in, we have covered every single existing class in the game. I referenced the One Peg interview earlier. Terrence covered a lot of ground. We can hone in on any of those topics that tickle your fancy, but I did want to throw out one thing that really caught my attention. I want to see what you guys think. Terrence volunteered this. I don't think this was a question that One Peg asked. They talked about matchmaking, arena, socketing, ruins. I gotta look at my notes now. The Druid forms and then Sorcerer. Those are like the big ticket takeaways. But sprinkled in there, Terrence mentioned that they are going to bring deities / religion into the game. That is something actively being worked on. Obviously, this matters a lot to clerics. Well, not obviously. Depending on the implementation of it, it should matter a lot to clerics.
It will matter to everyone.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
All right.
Do tell.
Nope.
Damn it.
He won't tell.
We tried.
That's a vague and cryptic enough hint that I won't get in trouble for it, but it will matter to everyone.
It's probably another like little mini underclass system, kind of like a sub class. Oh, I've chosen the religion of a different skin. I'm just going to spitball that it's going to be similar to like the character customization for skins. There's a tab, you select religion, you get a suffix and an affix for a title, and a +1 slap on the ass to go into the dungeon. Done.
Sign me up for that one.
It'll probably be something, you know what? If I'm actually going to give like an idea of what I think it would pertain to, it'd be something involving additional shrines being added to the dungeon specific to those kinds of like religious, like I pray to the sea squid and now I can move faster in underwater. So, you know what I mean? Like minor buffs that are probably incorporated that you can only select if you have chosen that said religion in the map. Just judging from what I've heard.
That's what you've heard.
It's gonna make
sense,
way better.
No, those are words.
Yes,
like 3 new shrines added, you know, like, and it's each one you can only pray if you have the corresponding deity selected before you go into the game.
I think
it'll have an interesting impact on the metagame. Not like
maybe
not
even like loot spots.
Not balance, but just the overall game. It'll have an interesting impact.
So my hope was that maybe not right out of the box, but somewhere down the road, this would tie into actual character development. And I know maybe one of the very few disappointing things for me coming out of that interview was that Terrence said that they have kind of put the skill tree training on the back burner in the short term, and that was kind of disheartening to hear. But mentioning the deities / religion was really cool, and my first thought was maybe that will be blended in to that skill / training development part of the game somewhere down the road. But Odin, it sounds like they already have you at least have some idea of what it's going to do in the short term, so maybe it's planned to be relatively lightweight and I'm reading too much into it, or maybe it's a multi-step approach.
I guess
Josh,
we'll find out when it comes out.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. Josh, what do you and Ken think about that? Do you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I have no idea what religion could even do. I'm sure it's probably some kind of like small buff if you choose some religious tree in one direction, damage or tanking it, whatever it is. I don't really know. I'm not. It could be cool. I just don't really know what to expect. I think anything would just be pure speculation. But it's a cool concept. Cool theme.
I want to see if I'm right so bad. I want to know.
I'm with Ken. I think it's gonna be like something lightweight, where maybe it's like one of 3 deities, and whichever one is like winning the dungeon war will get like plus, like.
You think it's like a faction war?
Oh, wait a minute. Red Lizard Gang.
No faction war. I don't think there's a faction war involved here. I think it's just like unlockables in the dungeon. I think that maybe even like, let's say that certain doors are added that are shortcuts between zones that are specific to whatever deity, or even like points of interest, like you were talking about so bad. Maybe each religion has a point of interest on the map. Like there's a gold pile under the statue of Medusa if you worship the tentacle goddess, some shit like that. So that could create like a different flow of movement throughout the maps and stuff. So it will be something that like tackles several birds with one stone. But that's just my current guess on whatever the hell it could be.
I was also thinking it would be like an item that you could wear to represent your deity, and then if you kill another player, you take their like I don't know, ring, or not ring. I guess that's already a slot. You know what I mean? Like you take their pendant.
It could be like rep,
of
right?
Like Medusa, yeah, like a rep. And then if you turn it in, like, hey, I killed 3 Shadow God and 3 Sun God, and they're like, yay, +6, whatever for you. And then you like level that up. Yeah, and then like eventually it's still like overall going to be like very minimal, but it would just be cool. Plus it offers like a whole new avenue for RP. Like, hey, are you Shadow God? And they're like, no, I'm Sun God. And you're like, prepare to die, bitch.
It's the same as the torches. Whip out the torch for the children. No, you will die.
Somebody did that to me today, and I didn't have it on my fucking alt. I took my torch out. It was base torch. I was like,
were you like, please? No, I didn't. It's not how it looks like. It's not what it looks
like. If you see a bard, you just kill him on sight.
Oh, yeah, they don't have a torch. No,
they never
you don't have a torch. You just W key into them.
Oh, no, true.
They turn on their lantern shield. It's not RGB.
Dead.
You hate the children.
There's no liquid cooling in that lantern shield. I'm afraid you have to die.
So the inventory system was brought up, speaking of Bard, and when we talk about the inventory system, aside from the big refactoring that they did just to try to work out all the kinks and set it up so that the game can scale properly and we can implement quivers and other things, it's mentioned a lot less. Maybe that's because we don't have any Bard mains on here, at least at the moment, but I feel like Bards need the inventory enhancements as bad or worse than Rangers. Thoughts?
Yeah, yes. They need it so bad. They need like an instrument bar just for instruments so they could still also take pots and surge kits. I don't play much Bard, but I play with Bards and I feel bad for them. There's a reason why Bard has one of the lowest play rates in the game while also being one of the strongest classes, because they're just miserable to play.
It's also complex.
Yeah,
like to a degree, you do need to maintain a lot of uptime on your buffs, making sure that you're ready for a fight. Game sense,
tedious. It's not even complex. It's just tedious.
It is.
Yeah, it's just tedious. Right. It's just buttons for the sake of buttons. I just feel bad for the Bard players out there. They all have carpal tunnel, and they're going to get early onset arthritis. I'm sorry, but I need my fucking buffs, so I get to work.
Yeah.
But one of the things they should not have to contend with, in my opinion, is giving up things like torches and pots and pickaxes, like all these things that you do not get the luxury of being able to deal with because all of your utility slots are filled up by instruments. But it was definitely inspiring to hear that the inventory system is still being worked on. It sounded like quivers might be even out next season, which, by the way, by my account, we're probably about halfway through. I was trying to think through this earlier in the week. If we're 40 some odd days into the wipe, chances are if we go with past behavior from Ironmace, we should expect another wipe in about the equal amount of time, right? Around that 90-day range. We've had some a little bit longer than that, but that'd put us in probably early September. So the last quests were just released, so we're halfway through the season in theory, right?
We definitely need some stuff to fill the in between if the wipe is going to go that long. Now, to clarify for you guys, and it's funny because I was watching Soma, which I don't know. Did you guys watch the episode of
Soda
Darkest Hour this week with Soda Poppin'? Because that was a very good episode. It was actually very
awesome.
cool to hear how invested Soda Poppin' has become in the game.
And Summit, like Summit's been
Yes.
grinding. It's
Summit's
great.
been every time I get on, I see him on there.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
But yeah, well, he mentioned in there that like everything is in Korean. So when I first joined Ironmace, of course, I went through because I was excited. I was like, cool, I get to see all the behind the scenes stuff. So I went through and read everything. I knew everything that was going on. Now I know about like the major stuff that's like coming up really soon because my part of my job is social media and like managing the news and announcements and stuff. So I have to make sure I have that stuff ready. But I don't pay as close attention anymore to everything because it's all in Korean and I have to go through and translate everything. So sometimes I hear about stuff too when like the One Peg interview happened and I'm just like, wait, we're doing that? That's actually sick. So it's like a little, I've now protected myself too so I don't accidentally say something that I shouldn't by just not knowing. I don't know unless I have to.
That's great. That makes sense.
Way to do it, for sure. So, do we open it up to Q&A, or are there any lingering thoughts? Were there any other big takeaways? I mean, I rattled off a few things: matchmaking, arena, socketing. Socketing was a big topic of conversation. The Ruins map potentially being the new entrance to the Goblin Caves. Sorcerer. Anything else you guys want to cover? Do we want to save some ammo for our next podcast in 2025?
All I know is that I want gems. I don't know how they're going to do it. I just know every game that has gems, I like that game more because of it.
I don't want them to implement gems as like. I mean, it seems like right now they're kind of sort of flattening the time to kill or the speed to kill and kind of like minimizing it. And I don't want them to introduce gems to bring everything back up to like super fast power levels. I think gems might be a cool implementation if they were something that revolved around, say, PvE bonuses or like giant slaying or undead slaying or different things like that. Like they do not
lizard slaying.
They do not have to be weapon damage raw. It can be weapon damage to undead. It can be like restorative things. There could be a lot of different avenues to pursue that don't have to directly inflate power levels. So I think that would be cool. I think it's going to be a nice system. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
As a counterpoint to that, I would really like them to bring back +1 all attributes for the gems and the socketing.
All right,
I
quit. Literally, I would like to see the smallest implementation. I want them to fuck it all up.
Plus all. Yes, and plus weapon damage.
10 weapon damage plus all. Give me some spells and abilities from other classes. Yes. You know what? I want to be able to phantomize on my cleric.
Listen,
right?
I know Josh is dying to talk about Dungeon Board right now, and we're not going to talk about it. But I will say that some of the gear looks kind of cool. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow, Odin brought it up first. Solely.
Wait, doesn't that game have gems?
And that's I'm not going to talk about it any more than that.
All right. That's it. Back to Dark and Darker. The thing that I was looking forward to, I do think gems could be handled really well with the socketing, but the unique monsters is my main takeaway because it just gives something freaking cool. And not to bring up Dungeon Board again, but like seeing a goddamn treasure goblin in my dungeon, I'm like, oh, sick, a treasure goblin. Like he crawls out of the ground, he gets his little sack. I beat the shit out of him, and he runs around dropping loot everywhere, and then he's got purples. And I'm like, yay, epics. Whereas Dark and Darker, I'm like, all right, well, like I should probably just like go for players because they're the only things with loot, and then maybe
might
like
be a wraith. There might be a champ there in the way, but yeah, I like the idea of that RNG of having like every room could have a treasure goblin, or every room could have like a shadow mage who just does something different and drops higher stuff, just like you were saying. Like I want the D2 affix style elite system or just something rewarding. Like, I know nightmare mobs are kind of exactly that sort of iteration, but they can expand so much further. Right now, we just got shiny lightning mobs. I want to see fiery mobs. I want to see ice mobs. I want to see everything. Yeah, like teleporting affix, or damage over time, like a burning affix where the mob hits you and it does a fire damage effect. Just something unique, and then give them extra drops and make those could be POIs. Just the monster spawns.
We have you have an event on Fridays called Friday Night Fuckfest, and all the monsters have affixes. They're teleporting, they're on fire, they're sending shadow bolts. Yeah, everybody wants to get on. I'm taking Friday off for Friday Night Fuckfest.
I'm queuing up with the boys for the fuck.
Oh my god, it's gonna be great. There's 4-on-4s, there's 2v2s, there's even 1-on-1s. It's gonna be great.
I would like for the gems to have like additional effects that give you, like, I'd love to have unironically, I would love to have gems that give you regular interaction speed. I would love to have like mining gems.
There you go. See, that's what I'm saying. Like
luck gems,
like utility gems, not raw stat power curve bonuses. Just utility.
A gem that gives you an additional heal over time that lasts like 10 seconds whenever you grab a shrine. Or just like gives you a little
heal over time after PvE or something.
If you grab a speed shrine, you also get like a weak prot effect. Like, those would be cool gems to add that I don't think would go too crazy, but
gems of buff duration.
Yeah, just literally shit tier gems that are minimally impactful, no weapon damage, no +1 all, you fucking freak. Just like the most limited aspects that I don't want them to just immediately implement such a power curve where it's like, all right, well, I now got my +3 slaying of ass, and I'm going to slap this +10 weapon damage gem in it, and I'm going to go spank the lobby. Like, I really like the idea of adding gems, but just with a minimal utility. I want to feel good about getting it. I don't want to feel like I missed out by not having a gem. I just want to be like, oh, this is cool. Now I have a little bit of res. Make it even like not res. Just make it straight up. You open doors 50% faster. Just fucking do something cool with it. Just
I was with you when you said you had me at ass slaying. So
I figured as much.
If we're gonna introduce like a new damage type and damage resistance type, and
damage to ass, yes,
damage to ass.
That's true.
More damage to players in their ass when they're running away.
That's true.
It's like Darkfall. Can be on board with that.
So Darkfall, what? Game's good.
All right, let's open it up to Q&A.
And Q&A, boys.
What do we got, guys? Ask away.
Chats, what do you want to talk about?
I'm all the way for questions. Like, when are we gonna get this dwarf race, though?
That's literally that's actually what I have in my class, in my chat, is dwarf when.
It wasn't gems that you got in the dungeon. It was just a merchant, and you could just go through and put affixes on each of your piece of gear. You could add one more affix of like whatever kind, and then we wouldn't have to worry about our inventory and our stats being filled with like fucking rubies and emeralds and like dog shit, like Diablo. Like if you could just go to the merchant, and you could also set up templates and be like, today I'm gonna do all resourcefulness on every piece, or like all buff duration.
Yeah, like gears have templates, like as like presets. How Tarkov has like weapon presets and stuff.
Yeah, but Tarkov doesn't have the affixes and everything. That's the biggest thing.
But it would be
there's
easy
so
if it
much
was
as
on the
far as a
merchant.
roll.
Wait, you know what would be fucking sick? Is if we literally just copied PoE's crafting system and added more currency items to the game.
Never played it.
You could just pull like
the best practice system in any game. Period.
Just you could just pull like transmutes and exalts and shit from the dungeon and go back
it's
home.
So complex.
You're on stream and you're just hitting your shitty little white fine cure ass with you're trying to get those god rolls.
Yeah, chaos orbs and all kinds of shit thrown on. Yeah,
I can't think of a game that has done crafting and economy better than Path of Exile. It's just like the goated game.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily 100% agree with the economy part because of how bad the RMT and like botting and
when I first started playing
that
PoE,
game is, but
I did like the idea of the orbs, right? Has that significantly changed? Like the way that orbs function and drop rates? I enjoyed that was the currency in the game rather than the gold.
Exact same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
How far away are we from PoE 2 at this point? I've seen the.
Who fucking knows, dude? It's been pushed back like 7 times.
Yeah.
The new league.
They're waiting for Diablo 4 to die fully.
It isn't?
Yeah, happy fools.
No, they got the expansion coming.
Yeah, there's an expansion.
And the last season was actually fun, and they're doing their things.
It was pretty good.
Could have been a good game. Could have been better.
So do we think right now, this is from Phil in the chat over here, do we think we need, I mean, I think that there's an obvious answer here, but maybe the better way to frame it is, how urgent is it to get more variants of current mobs that we have, and or start randomizing mobs within the dungeons? Two very different topics, I realize, but you kind of put two into one there.
They fit together for sure.
Yeah, they're pretty much a good blend. Like randomizing the mobs with the unique monsters would be a perfect conceptual change. And I think the sooner the better, because that's what the dungeon needs. Like POIs are one thing, but like reasonable exploration resulting in reward for that exploration. Like it doesn't have to be a POI where I like, oh, I know that the electric wraith spawns in the middle. It can just be like, every room has a chance for one of those. You see in the corner, there's like a fog because it's a fucking frost mob in there. And you can see him walking around. You're like, oh, dude, I might get my froststone ore or something. You know, give it like a unique drop, a unique area. Just have it be there for rewarding people exploring the dungeon rather than just W keying to the most recent spawn looking for players.
Yeah, I can see a world eventually where Dark and Darker is literally just like a, maybe not procedurally generated so that it's not literally generating the dungeon while you're in it, but I could almost see a world where like there's just a straight up dedicated game mode where the game itself becomes just entirely randomly generated. Like, I mean, that was the whole point of them building this module set instead of static maps in the first place.
100%.
So I mean, I could see it. And like I said before, I know SDF loves roguelikes, so who knows?
I've always felt like the game had that potential. And when people are like, some of the modules won't fit together, then you don't have them coded to go together. Like if a module leaves on a high level and it starts on a low level on the other one, those obviously aren't going to sit together, and just have their areas reversed so that all of them are equal level and just completely randomize the modules together. That'd be fine with me. I like that too. And I think everybody likes the idea.
That was always like their plan, but it seemed like
they
ran into some issues technically where they couldn't make the procedurally generated maps. And like that made sense. So it seemed like they were going to go in the route of, we're just going to make a fuck ton of different layouts, which they were doing. I felt like in previous playtests, like every time there's a new playtest or a new season, they'd be like, "Oh, we made a new iteration of Crypts. Oh, we added another 2 iterations of Crypts. Oh, we have Coliseum. We made Coliseum
3x3,
2.
5x5 goblins."
Yeah. I mean, it's the point where we had like 9 Crypts maps, and like sure, there wasn't procedurally generated and it wasn't randomized, but there was enough variance in the maps that it felt that way. If especially if you're a newer player, like sure, I'm like a sweaty dork with 4,000 hours, and it still felt pretty random when you had 10 maps. And if you're just like a new player with like a couple hours, couple hundred hours, like it's gonna feel randomized. But right now, like we have two Crypts layouts. We have one goblin.
It's the least we've ever had. I think
it's so funny because I remember when they took away the Crypts layout that had the bridge room in it, and everybody was like, "Give us the fucking bridge room back! It's the best room in the whole goddamn game."
And left us with it.
And then they were like, "All right, there you go. You get nothing else. You suck it, idiot."
Yeah, well, this is apparently Ironmace or Sith because they only deal in fucking absolutes. Like Jesus, man. You want it? You may have it and nothing else.
I do not miss Coliseum, despite the fact that it does reduce our map pool.
I love that map.
A trash map. I think it's a trash map.
It was a cool map, but it was imbalanced, but it was a cool map.
Yeah, it's exactly cool map. Dog shit to play on. There's nothing worse than getting third-partied because a team on the other side of the dungeon saw you fighting and was like, "Hey, we got to go over there and fuck those guys up."
No, it was the guys at the Golden Key that were watching you and then third-partied you after that fucking squad wiped you.
And then the other squad from the other side of the ring came around and third-partied them.
Too much vision, too much range, too much openness, and too much of
That's
a
why I'm worried about.
That was like ruins.
I always died on it. I still liked it. I just like the aesthetic.
I think one of the first times me and Ken and I think it was Jay were playing on there was like triple windless crossbow fucking ranger in our lobby. And I remember that very distinctly. The only portals out were in the fucking open area of the Coliseum with all 3 of the rangers holding it down. I'm the only plate wearer in there. And they're like, all right, so me and Ken, we've got these blue portals over here. We've got these blues. Someone else is going to have to get that blue where all of the windless rangers are aiming. Somebody else. Me and Ken, we have this one. Somebody else. The third person in our party who is not me and Ken. We're going to have to go to that one. The other guy in plate, the cleric guy. You. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? So I had to go walk out and basically a firing line of 3 windless rangers just sitting there staring at the portal and just sit there and be like crouch spamming like, I hated that map. That was like my first time playing with you, and it was just PTSD. It sticks with me. Just I got shot. I got out. I got riddled full of several holes, but I got out.
It was the right choice.
It was the right choice. I knew what I had to do.
I knew what I must do.
It's like I'm
But I
sitting
don't
there
know
letting
if I
them
have
be
the
like,
strength to
the
do it."
other guy should probably, the one with the highest PDR and HP should probably go to that one.
Mhm.
Okay, guys. Okay.
Yeah, but that's my tactician. What can I say?
Yeah. Oh, great. Brilliant.
I mean, you
But
got
yeah, runes. I don't miss runes. Everybody talks about like, where is runes? But it's like, it's become but a faint whisper. I really don't think anybody actually missed what runes offered besides the gold and the little rusty keys in the middle. That was
Here's one
about
from
it.
my chat that we've talked about this one a lot throughout the podcast history. What about a random NPC merchant in the dungeon that doesn't have a fixed position, and you can like talk to them or interact with them to get raid loot, or like we've talked about that a bunch, and that would be a really good addition to the game. Or just like once he lets you upgrade one piece of gear as long as it's less than legendary to like the next grade, so you can go like green blue or like blue purple, or maybe even epic legendary. Who knows?
I think any
Love it.
random things like that make this game
Yeah.
feel more like an instance MMO, like the better. Like that's what this game.
Yes.
It's not what it is, but it's what it could be. This game really could just be like a instance MMORPG where like you're
Single
just
serving game MMO where you jump in with
Exactly.
your
Right.
But I
Yeah,
agree
one
with
of those
the
features.
dynamic of giving more things in the dungeon that are RNG. It's just the same with like the unique mob spawns. You want to move around people. I don't like the vendor idea just because I don't want people to sit in that spot. Like I want, if there's a vendor, you find it. I feel like it'd be better off for that vendor to be like a loot goblin that you pop and he drops an upgrade stone or something, you know? I don't want people to like, oh, hey, you know, I found the vendor in the southwest corner. I swear he's over there. You know, you guys go check him out and upgrade your gear. All right, they're gone. Let's go. Let's go get the Cyclops, you know, like.
That
It's
is actually
cool.
a great dynamic, though.
But
Now
it'd
that
be
you say that,
Yes,
that
I
sounds like a
realize you
good
can lie to
thing.
people and
Yes.
RP your way like those little slithery rats.
Yes,
Like
where
if
you
you
can just
don't
sit
kill me,
there.
I know where the NPC is that can upgrade your gear. And I promise you, I'm not lying.
Lead them right into the fucking ranger traps with the
Yeah.
waiting phalanx line.
Exactly. There's like 8
Yeah.
people
It is.
waiting in there. You have made a mistake trusting me.
On the
fool.
topic of runes, real quick before we continue, because I really like the idea of this NPC, and I have another idea. I think if we put runes back in the game right now, exactly as it was, everyone would be really excited about it for like 2 or 3 weeks, just because it would just give you something new,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, I mean-
immediately we would go, wow, this map fucking sucked. I'm really glad they took it out.
Fair
Yes.
take.
Well,
Yep.
not everything sucks about it. So like the problem with ruins, sorry, I'm gonna rant here. The problem with the ruins was the third parties. It was just too easy to third parties, too easy to go from one side of the map to the other. It's too easy
was
to
your
see
problem
somebody
with
fighting. No, it's everyone's problem, not just mine. But if it was just 2 teams on ruins, like if it was just if that was the arena map, like actually getting into fights on ruins, with the exception of tower, was great. Like the terrain's great. I like you have enough open space, but you have some cover. Like it's a fun map to fight on when you have a fair fight on the map. You just never got that because it was third parties were everywhere, rat rogues were everywhere, and if there were druids were there at the time, druids would be everywhere. Like that's the main problem. But if that was the arena map, or if that was a 66 map, or if that was a 10v10 map, I'd be fucking playing it. Aesthetically,
My problem was
great.
the same as Coliseum. Is it's the open space with the
Yeah.
I have nothing to fucking deal with open space and I'm very slow. So like that was my biggest gripe was I'm the class that has to suffer the most for existing on this map because I have no ranged option and everything that's out of my fucking 10 feet is just blasting me constantly. And I'm in an open field 70% of the time approaching them. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of runes on that aspect. Give clerics a holy crossbow or a holy bolt or something that lets me shoot further. I think I'd be okay with it. But yeah, the map design just didn't favor the class I put my most of the time into. Therefore, it wasn't really enjoyable for me.
Yeah, but heal your ranger, you'd be fine.
It seems like they're going the right direction. If I understood Terrence properly in that interview, it sounds like they are thinking about making it the top level to the Goblin Caves, or maybe putting it underneath it. I'm not sure which, but it seems like despite a lot of us early on thinking the 3-tier system was going to be the end all be all, I think we've all come around, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like the community as a whole is pretty okay with having a 2-tier dungeon system right now for multiple reasons. And we've got Crypts Inferno, we've got Ice Caves, Ice Abyss. It seems natural to use or repurpose a map to fully flesh out the goblin environment so that we now have 2, 2, and 2, and then work on hopefully something approaching variations of all of those maps to give us more variety and randomization.
I heard I had an idea about like a deeper layer for Goblin, and I thought this was really cool. Like since we're already in the caves, right? You're already in the Goblin caves, excluding runes from the matchup here. Just like the next layer of Goblin caves, should you have chosen to go down, make it all red statics that you go down through. But when you go down into that next layer, there is no torches. I think that would be a really cool. Like have it an actual cave system with no fucking torches, and make it into like a little like arena with like a singular boss fight, or maybe even a loot pile, or just some kind of POI that you have to delve through the actual darkest dungeon to get through. And I thought that was like a cool little, I would like to have any sort of gameplay mode where all of the lights are off. It would be fucking freaky and cool and really fun for the first probably 2 days, and then it would be shit. But I thought it'd be a nice little dynamic going deeper into the caves.
No map either.
No map. Oh yeah, dude, remove the map and just put you in the darkness. Yes. Oh, I love it. Like you can activate torches throughout the level to create like a path, but there's just no lights, no activated torches down there. It's just pitch black darkness in the caves.
Light or meta. Let's go.
That could, that could work for that Goblin theme. It could also work for a Dark Elf theme. Steve in chat mentioned that. Yeah, like a what's it called? Menzo Baranzan or something like that. Is
please, God, yeah. Do the Underdark
no
map.
Yeah.
That'd be so insanely good. Just very low light, like super dark with like giant spider creatures that could like drop from the ceiling.
You could even have a dynamic spawn system down there. You know, who knows?
They're gonna have to add an arachnophobia mode for all the people that can't fucking handle it.
Yeah, what's that filter called? I can't remember. But yeah, there's a lot of games that actually have that now.
It turns all the spiders into horses.
It removes the legs. Yeah, it usually removes the legs because the 8 legs is like that and the fangs.
There was the one I saw for Lethal Company where it just changes it and it literally is just the floating word says spider.
Yeah,
it's fucking great.
That was like Lethal Company's dev was like, you know what? Yeah, I can do this. If you guys really want it, I'll fix it for you. And you know what? The funniest part is that instead of being like, how dare you patronize, they're like, thank you for that. No, thank you. I appreciate that. The word spider, so much less scary. Thank you.
I just thought that was funny. That was great.
What else we got?
Not too much over here.
Any cues?
And a race like another race with
in the race wars.
night vision. You know, like a little bit better seeing in the dark even.
Vision, yeah.
Dark vision, like dark elves can see a little bit better.
Drow would have that.
Somebody mentioned that.
Everyone would use that though. That would become 100% meta all the time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you move a little slower or something to compensate. Who fucking knows? Less audio. You have worse hearing but better vision. Now we're going somewhere. Yeah. Some kind of drawback, like, you know, because
I think I'd
less
still
armor,
always
more
play
magic
that.
resist.
So
you just turn off all the lights in one of the rooms and just wait.
If you don't have dark vision, it's like playing Dark and Darker before you turn the brightness up. Remember play like that? I played like that for like months without realizing there was a brightness fucking meter.
First thing I did.
I found somebody streaming, and I was like, "What can I see?"
Yeah, that's weird for me though. My stream looks different than my game looks. I got really upset one time when I was streaming. I was playing with Katie, and all of a sudden I had everybody like yelling at me going in different directions. And I'm like, apparently there was a portal on one side that I didn't see. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, would everybody just shut up? I'm trying to get out of here. They're like, where are you going? Like, I'm going towards the portal. Like, you didn't see that other portal? I'm like, what other portal? And I go back and watch the VOD and I can see like the blue crystal outlines on the stream, but I'm like, that fucking wasn't there, man. It wasn't there.
You're just blind and, you know, it's all right.
All right, I'm old and blind, but that's option 2. Yeah, that's true.
That's option
I didn't want to bring it up. This is how I'm going to learn about it, but, you know, thanks, guys.
It's all right.
I got glaucoma.
Okay, we all, you know, we all age. Part of life.
Not all of us. Keanu's over there living his best life for the 300th year.
Over there?
You know what? That is still aging. It's just backwards. You're still aging, just in the wrong direction.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a delightful 2-hour conversation here. I think we should save some for the next one. We've got, hopefully, a big hotfix coming out this week. I'm going to Babe Ruth it. I'm going to call, I have no insider knowledge. I'm going to call the matchmaking update this week, or worst case, next week. I'm hoping, praying that it happens. I have no idea what to expect from it other than that Inspect will be gone. The base camps will be gone. I
can't
don't
wait
know
for
if it's
that.
going to be truly League of Legends style, where you'll be able to like fill a role specifically. That would be cool. But I will take just the ability to sit in the lobby, play around in my stash or with the merchants, navigate around in the lobby while I'm waiting for a queue. That by itself is right now the dream. And I am hopeful we will be able to all turn our cameras on and do another pod and celebrate this big victory either next weekend or the following.
All right, I'm gonna call fishing. No matchmaking changes, but fishing is implemented.
I mean, I
What's
would
your
love
bets, ladies
fishing.
and gentlemen?
I would love fishing, but that's
Let's
just
hear
me.
it.
That would be a consolation prize, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
Put
hoping
my
for
sweaty
matchmaking
pits up
though.
on the
Like
screen
matchmaking
there real quick
is
for a
like
second.
so important.
I can't wait to get here with you
Yeah.
guys,
Oh,
sit down,
okay.
and talk about the sex update. All right.
Before we
But
leave, let me
they've been
talk
proud.
very praise bunch for Dungeonborn, but only on this topic. The fact that in Dungeonborn there's an option where they can't inspect you, and people run up and push F, and nothing happens, and I'm just like, fuck off.
I was surprised at how many
No
people knew that
loot for
option
you.
existed. I didn't even turn it on, but
great.
everybody I go up to was like, "We're in casuals, bitch. Like none of us have gear, and you're all right, whatever."
Yeah.
Be that way, girl.
It applies in every game mode and it's not on
Yeah.
by default?
Correct.
It's not on by default, which is weird because I feel like it should be.
Huh. I mean, it's awesome that it's there, that for sure, but weird that it's
Mhm.
not on by default.
And most people have stopped running around. Like at first, like in Dark and Darker, everyone they check every single person's
Oh,
pocket. And
I
Dungeonborn
feel
it started
violated
that
in every
way.
game.
And now
Yeah.
like everyone's turning it off, and most people just stand around now, or they go practice just like pairing against each other or whatever. But it's just fun when somebody runs up, and you could tell they like try to push
And
F,
they
and nothing
can't. They can't.
happens.
Their hands aren't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then lift
they're
the
just like.
hands. No soup for you.
And
It's like I feel like my pockets are zipped up and they're like just impenetrable forces, just like.
It just fucking pisses me off when I load into a lobby and some shitter is just running straight at me in a line.
Yep.
Or like
What this guy's got on.
you're the last one to load in.
them, you know.
Yeah, you load in, you see 3, 2, 1, and there's like a rogue just like looking at you.
Just
Who's already been looking at you
Yeah.
while you're
Yeah.
loading, and you don't even have time to look at them. You're like, oh, wow, I was the last one in. This sucks.
Yeah.
Oh well. But
just feel
it is what it
disrespected.
is.
All right, boys. A pleasure as always.
Indeed.
Yes.
Odin,
Thanks for
thank you
having
for
me on,
joining us.
fellas.
Please come back again soon. I know it won't be all the time, but love having your input on here.
Get back for the arena drop for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, whenever that happens, I will definitely.
Yeah, next week. Yeah.
Next
whenever
month.
that happens, Odin.
15 minutes.
August 17th.
Whenever it happens.
Whenever it happens.
Is that gonna be like the next like so bad strange
I'm not
Druid
making eye
meme?
contact.
Like Druid next
No,
week?
this is
15
this
minutes.
is- listen,
15
I'm
minutes?
just saying, Terrence and SDF were like, we got a big 1-year early access anniversary coming up. You know, things are going to be great. Maybe drops, maybe a Twitch tournament, maybe the arena. And I paraphrase that a lot. That might be only the things that I said out loud, but I think that that's happening. Honestly, the 1-year anniversary is going to be huge regardless. Something cool is coming in
I
August.
honestly expected nothing. I don't know why, but I think I'm just a glass half empty kind of fucking guy.
Isn't it like August 26th or whatever? Was that when did it come
Yeah,
out?
we're only about a month
Yeah,
away.
it was like the
I thought it was the
17th.
17th.
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
was the 17th or 16th or something.
Either way.
Because I remember I was on vacation when
You
it
know
came
who would
out.
know? Odin.
I don't know anything.
You would think that. You would
When
think
is
that.
the 1-year anniversary of early access? You should know that.
Oh yeah, it's August 7th.
August
That's
7th.
7th?
Even
Holy
sooner.
It was
cow.
the 15th.
Nope. August
You
7th.
just said you
First
thought it was
day.
the
Wow.
17th.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like
You
sometime.
son of
I
a
remember
bitch.
because no, the 17th is when I got home.
It's like 2 weeks from
the-
now. 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean, that's Googleable information. You can just find that online.
I think you made that word up.
Googleable.
Googleable.
Googable.
Googly.
And
All
on
right,
that
boys.
note,
I'm gonna
we
go
end.
catch the grand finals of Street Fighter on Evo here because I wanna
Is
see
Evo in
who takes
Vegas?
this. Yes, it's in Vegas.
Still.
Yes,
Oh.
also House of Dragons, the
Yes,
finale is
House of the
tonight. So
Dargon, yes.
enjoy
Let's
enjoy
go.
House
Oh,
of Dragons.
please. It's the finale already?
Yep,
Episode
final
6?
episode. They're only gonna do 6.
No, I thought you. Yeah, I was gonna say
Oh.
he said that. He said that.
He left
All
on
right.
that.
Yeah.
All right, bye everybody.
Damn it.
All right,
Alright, bye,
I
everyone.
hear
The
what you're
worst.
saying.
All right, so I'll
All
see
right,
you
guys.
guys
Hey,
later.
thanks everybody in the chat and all chats. Until
Have a
next
good night,
time.
guys.